Yeah, I don't like my community flirting with whoever I'm streaming with. That's like a big red flag for me. Like, don't. Yeah, it's like, okay, look, are you here for me or are you here for them? Because if you're here for them, go to their fucking stream, okay? I love them. They're my friends, okay? But go over there then. I say that all the time because I have this friend, and I'll say their name, Lioness, right? My friend Lioness has this gorgeous voice. She's French, okay, or she has a French accent. So of course she sounds sexy. She sounds husky, and she's like, she sounds very sussy and stuff all the time, and that's just how she sounds. And I'm streaming with her, and I sound like a fucking Muppet, and she sounds amazing. And people are like, oh my god, mommy, your friend's voice is so pretty. Well, tell her that, but not here. Go the fuck away. And so it's like, okay, well, like last week you were in love with my fucking cringe voice, and now suddenly you're humping on hers.
Yeah, say that shit over there. Don't say that over here. That makes me feel bad. Oh my god.
Wait, I am so self-conscious about my voice too, and I'm like, and everyone's like, oh my god, Lioness's voice, and I'm like, listen, we all love Lioness's voice, okay? I love Lioness's voice. Lioness wouldn't be here if I didn't love her voice, all right? But get the fuck out of here with that.
Whoever said Muppy in chat, I'm timing you out.
Muppy, oh my god, that was mistake. How dare you?
Go ahead, time me out, bitch, I dare you.
Welcome into this episode of the Depths Podcast. I'm your host, Atramentum _X. With me, as always, my co-host, Lady Mystique. We're talking about the unromanceable phenomenon with our lovely guests here today. We're talking e-dating, and we're talking about creator-creator relationships as well as creator-fan relationships. We're going to go right into introductions before I flub this one more time, starting with Mrs. Mummy.
Okay, hi, my name is Mrs. The Mummy. I'm a variety YouTuber here on Twitch. I'm also on the, as they like to call it, the Blue Twitch. I do adult content creation. And yeah, I've actually recently I've for quite a while have considered myself unromanceable, or I sometimes will disparagingly call it I suffer from no bitches.
Mummy is making, I believe, either the third or fourth appearance on the show, possibly even fifth. I lost
third. I think? Maybe
yeah,
third, yeah,
okay,
third, yes.
Wow, tell some more. Okay, awesome. It's always good to have you on here.
I love being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got Bigshot.
Hi guys, my name is ARRABBIATAHOE, but you can call me Bigshot or Bia. I'm a playmate to be and your new bestie, and I'm so excited to hang out with all of you today. I am a variety streamer and cartoonist. You can find a lot of my lewd content on Gumroad and Patreon. I post a lot of art pretty frequently.
Bia is a very talented artist, very funny too. I've been following them for only a tiny bit now, actually, but I've just instantly been like, oh my god, she's hilarious.
I love her art. She's so
I love scrolling your page.
Oh my god,
love her.
Thank you.
Right next to Bia is the ever handsome TheOmenKae.
Oh my god, hello everybody, my name is OmenKae. I'm an Omen VTuber on the internet that is mainly on Twitch. This is my first, just chatting. I mean, I've done D&D, which is kind of just chatting. A little nervous, but I exist other places as well. And my experience with non-romanceable, it's been about 2 years since my last serious, intimate relationship. So I've kind of, started dating and then come out of it, and it's been very complicated throughout the VTuber sphere. So I've just kind of I guess you could say that I'm kind of getting used to the fact that maybe this space, well, we can talk about it during the podcast, but yeah, that's me.
Before we go to Lady Mystique, I'm just gonna acknowledge that my connection's being a little spotty right now, so don't mind that. If you fall behind, make sure you refresh your page. So one thing I wanted to note is that all three individuals here, I had the pleasure of sort of coming across tweets and stuff about sort of being unromanceable and sort of their takes on that. So that's where this episode idea came from, essentially. Mummy famously is unromanceable, but Bia and Omen have also talked at length about this, so I'm really happy to get everyone's input on this. But before we go into the pod, let's have an introduction from Lady Mystique.
Hey everyone, I'm Lady Mystique, aka That Pink Bint is back. I am going to start streaming again soon on Twitch. I am also over on Fansly. Everybody make sure you don't say Fansly, because Fansly is a very bad word here on Twitch. Fansly. Yeah,
Shit,
you
I
can
didn't
find...
say Fansly.
You can say fancy, it's fine.
I know, I was just joking. That's
Oh, right. Just make sure you don't say
How do you spell
rude
that?
words like bum. Foxtrot, Alpha, November, Sierra, Lima, Yankee.
I don't speak French.
I'm not this again.
Happy to be here as always, chat. Good to see you.
So for those of us watching at home right now, can you define for us what Unromanceable is? I'm going to actually volunteer Mummy to answer this one.
okay, sure. I have no problem answering unromanceable. Unromanceable means that you're essentially not interested or cannot be romanced into a relationship or otherwise. It means that you're kind of like not really feeling get into something romantic with your viewership or other content creators. That is how I kind of define being unromanceable.
Give me 1 sec.
Are we live right now?
We are live.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
I think half the viewers left. They went to go find your Fansly.
Oh my God.
Just immediately.
Oh no, bro.
Well, no, because for me, for some reason, it's showing Atra as being offline. Like I'm trying to find the stream. And it's
Oh, if you refresh it, it should
Yeah,
be,
refresh the page.
yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
In fact, I will tell people to refresh right now. Refresh now.
Okay, gotcha. Refresh.
Thank you, Omen.
Refresh now. Yeah, refresh now. Sorry, my hoo-ha broke it.
If I could add something to what Mommy said.
Yeah.
So just like pivoting off of that, I agree on the definition and everything. And I think that like it's a very useful term in terms of like what you present to your communities, like stating that you're unromanceable and everything. Just because like there's a lot of people that get parasocial in the space. And so they may come into your community like preemptively believing that like they have a chance for this or that. And it's just like an unrealistic like standpoint, you know?
Mhm.
So I think it's important to draw that line, and like I think unromanceable is like a pretty easy enough way to state that, you know?
Yeah, that's a great point, especially when it comes down to doing BFE and GFE content, because I think that we do end up sort of straddling that line. And, you know, some people may sort of take that to mean, well, you must be available then. You must be, like, willing to do stuff, and this is more than, like, entertainment than, like, other folks. It's kind of useful to put that out there up front.
Yeah.
So, I actually have some prepared questions. Why don't we go into this first one, actually? And it's a bit of a spicy question. It's, do you feel being in a relationship, or, parentheses, not being in a relationship, affects your marketability or reach at all? How do you feel about that?
I think that like when I think that if you come into this space, like quote unquote single, you know, and then get into a relationship while you are in like already a content creator, I feel like that can definitely like hurt your marketability, because a lot of your viewer base has already gone into that, into like investing their time, money, energy on you under the assumption, or guys, that they're going to somehow romance you. So having the title of like unromanceable in that case might be beneficial, because it's like from the get-go, like, hey, no matter what, you're never gonna get this, you know? So if I get into a relationship with somebody else, then it's fine, because you were never part of this equation.
So it's like the Coyote Ugly thing, like always appear available but never be available.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. But I think but for some people that come into this space with a partner already, I have never seen it hinder my growth. I think people sometimes when we come in with a partner already, people are kind of like already like, yeah, she has a partner, or yeah, they have a partner, that's we've been known about them, and your community tends to get like a huge like connection to your partner as well. Well, yeah, right. Okay, so I'm not the only one, because then they'll be like, oh my god, I love, for me personally, oh my god,
like, oh my god, cameo, partner cameo, hi.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you ain't never even spoke to Lucid, and they're like, Lucid's the best. And I'm like, okay, but like, I think that then they kind of accept you as that being part of you as well, and so then it's not a problem. I've noticed a lot of fallout for people that come into this space as being single and then getting a partner, and then that tends to like demolish their community, and then of course it hurts, because then they're upset. I've seen people get upset over it and be like, Jamal, just because I have a partner now, you were never on this. I was never going to date you. Well, yeah, of course you weren't, but they didn't care. You were their Oshi, they were like, oh my god, my Oshi is gonna fall in love with me one day. I'm gonna be that special person. But no. Yeah.
I use the bottom of my shirt as a napkin. I have a shot. Put me in college. Put me in college.
Put me in college. I love that. Yeah, that's what I've seen in terms of like people in relationships, people not in relationships, and then get into relationships while they are like a popular content creator. For some reason, that really tends to hurt their bottom line, I guess is how you can say it, yeah, I've noticed that.
So would you
Men
say
and
that,
women?
Yeah. So would you say that like people don't like to change their expectations of you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I feel like that's any kind of cancel culture thing that tends to happen is sometimes because the dynamic has changed. Like, for example, like, let's pretend like, I don't know, let's pretend like I'm like a really bitchy person and everybody knows I'm or I'm like a really, really nice person. And then like one little document comes out that shows that they're not so nice. Suddenly everybody's like, oh my god, she's a normal person that sometimes gets mad. And they're like, it's like, dude, that was nothing to cancel somebody over, but like they show their human side and suddenly it's a problem, like I've noticed that like they don't like change, like communities do not tend to like change.
It's very tough to craft your like persona around a certain thing and then have that flipped, sort of, because if you were like an asshole coming into the space and then it turns out that you actually may have had a dark side, then that tends to hit even harder, I think.
Well, I went to TwitchCon and everybody was like, oh my god, you're so nice. And I was like,
okay, yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, what do I just
It's like your Cruella de Vil coming in with your Dalmatian coat.
I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, you come off as being so blunt and like harsh on your Twitter. And I'm like, I'm just passionate. I'm like, I'm sorry if that comes off as being angry. I'm just a passionate, opinionated person. Like,
yeah, she's crashing through the side of a building, hunched over a steering wheel.
Imagine Mummy being sorry for being Puerto Rican. God damn.
I was like, no, but you're not Hispanic. I'm fucking feisty. Like, and that's the thing. I was just like blink at them and smile at them. Like, I was like, oh, that's nice to know. And they're like, yeah. And I heard horrible things about you too. And I'm like, oh my god, wow, what horrible things.
That's so insane.
They did say that to my face at a party. Someone was like, I love you, Mummy, but all my friends hate you.
My god.
Yeah.
That's something I really appreciate, about Mummy though, because we were actually we had the same V&B at TwitchCon, so we were all hanging out together a lot, and the fact that like Mummy just puts out a lot of like what she thinks on the internet.
Mummy just puts out a lot.
And a lot of people are kind of scared to have like their own opinions because they're too scared, like their community is going to be like, oh, this person's all drama, they're all about like what they're thinking at the time, and like maybe it's depressing, maybe it's controversial, whatever, but it's the way that they feel. And honestly, I feel more comfortable with people that are able to speak their mind.
Yeah, see, yeah, me too. Like I would rather somebody tell me how they feel, or just I don't want to hear it behind my back, just like throw it out there, let it be known. Like
Mhm.
at least you're always getting like the real me, the whole
Yeah.
time. But yeah, I'm sorry to change it, but again about they don't like a change. I feel like, and especially regarding romance, they definitely like don't like that.
I did kind of want to ask Bia this, Bia
Yeah.
being married and monogamous. I do remember seeing on social media you talked a bit about some of your male fans possibly having crushes on you. So, you had a very interesting take on this. Would you care to share that?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking more like about people being like confronting me, telling me like that they have feelings for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I come in with understanding. I mean, my name is Be a Bigshot. I can't help it if I can be irresistible. I was praying that pun landed. And I'm not really
shot your shot.
I shot my big shot.
Yeah.
I am not a stranger to, people having feelings for me when I don't have any for them. But at the same time, I can't control the way people feel about me any more than I can't control the version of myself that lives in people's heads. If I know anything about a lover, like I love love. It's great. It's that love is a pleasure to behold on its own, and I appreciate the sentiment. If feelings for me bring you joy, fine. If disliking me makes you feel powerful, fine. It's just simply not my responsibility.
That's an interesting sort of way of. This is what like kind of drew me to getting you on the show, because like I hadn't thought of it that way. Like at the end of the day, people can fall in love with the idea of you, absolutely. Knowing these like basic facts about you, like for like Mummy and Bia, like it's not a secret that they're in relationships at the slightest. You can go to Bia's like Twitter and see like pictures of the wedding ceremony. You can see Lucid like on like Mummy streams all the time. It's not a secret at all, And yet people still develop these very intense feelings for them. It's very interesting.
I'm just very upfront about who I am and what kind of content I make. Like, I'm a lesbian, I'm married, I'm mean, and I want your money. That's it. And I think people kind of enjoy the nuance of that. Like, it's kind of like a playfulness, like knowing that your flirting efforts are futile, but you still fall in line for the mean girl's approval. It's like that one meme. What is it? That's this kid in military. No, it's a Boy Scout uniform, like saluting, and he's like, "What a bad bitch! Tell me what to do."
Yes.
That's my audience.
Yes. Oh, God, I love them.
Oh my God, I'm gonna go find that meme real quick.
Please, everyone.
I suppose
Boy Scouts saluting when a bad bitch tell me what to do.
Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful mindset to have, though. Like, that's a beautiful way to put it and think of it, I think. Like, that's really
it's all right to be like shrimping for someone, or like be on other content and everything. Like that's like probably like 90% of viewership is just people who want to be around you, and have that sort of connection. It's the only time it becomes a problem is
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, no!
I'm sorry, continue.
The only time it becomes a problem is whenever it becomes invasive, really. Not yeah. It is whenever they like, despite like all of the statements you may have to make, about like, you're not open to anything, you're unromanceable, you currently have a partner and you're not looking for anything romantic, that's when it gets bad. But like, if someone's looking to support you just because they really like the person that you are, I mean, that's their decision,
Being near you gives them thrills. Absolutely.
Feel free to not decline to answer this, Omen, but you've mentioned that you've been single for 2 or 3 years now. Do you think part of your appeal at all comes from being sort of single?
Honestly,
in some people's eyes?
That I haven't really considered that, because it's not really like what I think about whenever I stream. Like whenever I stream, I just think about like hanging out with people.
I can answer this, Roman, yes.
Now there is like certain things where like I feel more comfortable about, like for example, like the thirst traps on like my Twitter or whatever, and that sort of thing. And I was like, Well, okay. Well, the only avenue I need to go through myself is like, am I comfortable posting my own body, you know, or that sort of thing. But as far as like, I don't know. To be honest, I haven't really considered that. But I do feel like I do communicate pretty often, especially when someone like mentions they're like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome, I love you. They start throwing out terms like that. I'm like, by the way, we're all just having a good time here. Let's just chill out.
I mean, I've got to say, you are gorgeous. I don't love you yet.
Thank you, thank
like,
you.
You're gorgeous.
I can take this face value. It's just like, it's whenever people like do get parasocial, like luckily there's only been a couple circumstances where they just spam me with stuff. They're stalking me everywhere. Like back when Twitch friends were a thing, they would watch the streams I watch.
Ooh,
like,
that's
and they'd
creepy.
pop into chat like that. And I was like, you know, I kind of like it's very weird. And when we were talking about, this was before stream, by the way, when we were talking about, you know, sort of like dating websites and you're in person and that sort of thing, I'm not like completely closed off by someone I'm intimate with, but I do get most of like my my physical affection from physical touch or having someone there. So that's probably one of the reasons, like, while I've been streaming and everything, I haven't really gotten engaged in like some sort of romantic relationship or anything, is because I kind of have trust issues from a previous relationship about distance. So it's just like, you know, it's kind of like that.
I have trust issues about Google Docs that drop from like jilted exes and stuff. Like,
oh my God.
And this isn't like things that are actual crimes or that the community needs to be made aware of. I'm just talking about people who will write a 56-page Google document about something that is not a public safety issue. This is not a protection issue. It's, this guy was like a shitty boyfriend, or like, she was manipulative because she asked me to buy her stuff. Yeah. Or whatever.
Or,
and, like,
or...
I had a choice, but I did it. And...
Right, or just like somebody, he cheated on, okay, it's not a crime to cheat on somebody. Like, I know it's a shitty thing to do, but you don't have to like write out your doctorate on why he cheated, like how he cheated on you. You know, like it's all in the limelight whenever you're streaming or you're in content creation. It's almost like it's like parallel to being a celebrity, because most of, like, you know, celebrities spend a lot of their time avoiding social media. You know, they don't want the traction whenever they go do their personal stuff. But streamers want as much like exposure as possible. So
well, we live on social media.
Right.
So whenever you do anything, it is like cataloged, because we are online all the time.
I would say, like, the people I respect the most, unfortunately, as VTubers, are the guys who, like, sign in at like 5 o'clock, post a tweet, and then log right off.
He's like, I'm him.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be you one day.
I maintain comms discipline.
2,000 likes.
On like social media, because I am also like in my head I'm quite opinionated and can be a bit of an asshole sometimes, and like if I start letting that out, I will probably invite the internet hate machine to my door quite quickly. And I think it's so easy for that to happen when you're dealing with relationships, especially with other creators, because they also have a platform.
I mean, it's the nature of Twitter in general. Like, this is not a thing for VTubers alone either. Like, Twitter is a dunk on each other, like, culture.
Oh yeah.
It famously, that meme, it's like, you can say I like pancakes, and then somebody like, oh, so you hate waffles? No, that's
hate waffles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also you could have like one person with like a genuine thing that is like a public safety issue, or a couple of people, like a handful, and 500 other people that got sent a flirty text once and like will come in and make it all about them.
Yeah.
Instead of about the actual story.
I hate that. That's one thing I don't like. Like, once they did this to me, like, like, it reminds me of, like, the Mean Girls when Regina George, they're talking about Regina George this, Regina George that. Once she smacked me, it was awesome.
Once she punched me in the face.
Yeah, when she punched me in the face, it was awesome. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's the thing. Like, everybody just wants to then, like, I guess, like leapfrog off of what that first person said. And while the first person's issue was a valid issue, if it was like crime based or like manipulation based or whatever, like the first person may have said something super valid, and then in come all these like, this one time they messaged me once and they called me sweetheart and I was not okay with that. It's like, relax.
Or like they'd spoken a couple of times. She loved you like a sister or a brother.
Oh God,
we were best friends. Sorry.
God, yes.
God, I need to get off my soapbox.
No, you're so valid though about that. Like, yeah, when controversy happens and people then start like suddenly they're all hurt and they don't know if they can stream. I don't know if I can go on. My trust has been broken so hard. We were in like one collab once. Chill. Yeah.
Let's take a question from Marshmallow. Actually, we've got some questions coming in from Marshmallow. Thank you, chat. We appreciate those.
Yes.
Yeah. Is being unromanceable made you tolerate less emotional BS, gaslighting from others, or others seeking your constant validation?
I think again, it's that thing about setting that expectation. Thankfully, I mean, knock on wood, like I have yet to be in a situation where I feel like someone is kind of guilt tripping or trying to grab my attention in a not very good kosher way. I think like we can have genuine bonds and even friendships with some of our audience. I mean, I do like off the side, like off of stream, and it's friendly and sometimes financial, and that makes me smile / laugh. And then I think there's also, the possibility of the content creator like overextending themselves to appease their audience because, they think acting otherwise is off-brand for them. So it puts them in a really tough situation. And I know, obviously, I think sometimes we think more about parasocial relationships of like, what about a content creator flirting too much with viewers individually? And I think it's kind of important to also be careful with the language that you choose and the expectations you set, for sure. But I think it's also important to, consider the other perspective mentioned of like overextending yourself, because it helps to understand that a content creator could do anything and still have someone react in a way that's totally unwarranted.
Absolutely.
You said something interesting that I do want to delve into in a bit, but moving on, I'm just gonna give an opportunity for Mummy or Omen to maybe chime in as well. In terms of whether or not you feel that you have a lower tolerance for this stuff because you've already stated your boundaries, so to speak.
I think I definitely do. I know I do. Like, because when I already start seeing people that are kind of going, I guess, crossing my boundary of what I'm comfortable with them saying to me, sometimes if it gets like a little bit too like parasocially feeling, like I will just stop talking to them, like outside of like streams and stuff. Like if they're DMing me and stuff, and I'll be nice at first and like be kind, but then if I see that they're getting a little too attached and using like too much they're showing me that they're getting like actually very emotionally attached to me, that it's affecting their moods and stuff, I might also then like start breaking contact from them.
It's when you start to go from parasocial 1, which is what everybody has with each other, to parasocial 2, where it starts to affect your life and your mood. The parasocial 3, where you're stalking somebody.
Yeah, it's in a dangerous kind of way though. Like in a like I've had like some person say like just that mentally they weren't well and thinking of like self-harming or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, like I really am so sorry that you're going through this, but I can't engage with you anymore, and I had to block them. And not to be that person, but I don't need me affecting somebody's mood that much, like no, you're not, that's dangerous, you're not welcome in my space, I cut that off. So when I start seeing like red flags start raising, I start distancing myself.
I had someone who was like, "Oh, does anyone want to get into VC?" And I was like, why?" And he was like, "Oh, because I want to like kill myself." And I was like, you can't be putting that on random people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I had to ban them because I was like, these are just random people you don't know. They could like come into VC and tell you to do it. Like, you know, I don't control what other people say to you. You know, you're putting yourself in danger and you're putting everybody else in danger with like potentially triggering them. But sorry, this isn't about me, but your story.
That's the reality.
Wow, that's still so valid, you know, like people like out of nowhere. And so I have like very strict rules on my Discord about that. Like your mental health issues are not to be brought up on my Discord.
Yeah,
I love Mummy.
I've never allowed venting at all in like any of my
Mm-mm.
spaces because I don't want to expose my mods to that. And like, there's been so many servers I've been in where the mods get such emotional burnout. Like having this like meet people's like most like every single day is a horrible thing happening.
And so the thing is that also when it comes to things like that too, if you have that kind of open raw honesty on your Discord, you're also allowing I feel like a window for that parasocial attachment to grow. You know, and that's the thing, like that's where the question, do you have a short fuse for like bullshit or emotional like bullshit, like the gaslighting and stuff? That is such an easy way for people to like gaslight you and get you to like attach to them. I'm having such a bad, you know, I'm going through so much stuff. I feel bad. I feel compassion for people, but so that's the point. So I have to make sure that it doesn't start so that then I don't engage with that.
Once you become part of someone's like emotional support network, it can be something that's way more that's going to overwhelm you for sure.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Just based off of that, the gaslighting, everything, that is definitely like something that I'd like to keep away from like my streaming space and everything. Very sensitive subject just because like I'm very sensitive to it personally. And it's sort of like, I would probably delete the message and tell them, hey, you can't talk to people like publicly about this sort of thing. I understand needing someone to talk to. There's plenty of people that you can talk to about it for free. It's just kind of like, it hits me really hard because it could be coming from like a fairly honest, like, at the end of my line sort of way, you know? But like at the same time, it's not fair to put that on an entire community of people because for one, you might get less than positive responses from it. From another, you could get very bad advice. It's just, it's something that shouldn't be discussed in like in a group chat in a server or whatever. Or
it's dangerous.
Like if you're like taking it to like by the letter, oh yeah, that, you know, this is what I'm thinking about doing, instead of like, I don't know, I've just had a rough day, which you know, we all have rough days. You know, I want someone to chat with. That's understandable. But you can't just kind of like guilt trip people like that. It's not fair, and it's impossible to tell whether, you know, that's you or that's like you just wanting attention, gaslighting, like we were talking about before, like needing attention from this one person so that you can feel, you know, that sort of thing.
Validated.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've got
It's like Ken on like the Barbie movie. Like Ken only has a good day if Barbie looks at him. Like you get people who hang on to you and like they can only feel validated if you pay attention to them, and if you don't, they can become very irate.
So this is a great point. Actually, I want to hang on to this for 1 sec. So I will say we have 2 excellent marshmallows that I'm going to get to in a bit, but I did want to sort of delve onto more of this point.
Yeah, they're in my dress.
What?
How do you sort of deal with people seeing you interact with your close friends, like whether they be other streamers or people in chat, and expecting the same level of friendship or like flirtatiousness with them.
Oh God, Omen.
Oh my God.
Oh
I've
my
hit a
God.
nerve. I've hit a nerve.
No,
Um,
or Bia, yeah.
Fairly recent
somebody.
experience with this. Yeah, it doesn't feel good, I guess, whenever it's like, okay, so can you repeat like the way you phrase that question?
Sure. So like, how
So
do you
that I
sort of-
don't get too personal. Yeah.
Of course. How do you sort of deal with the tension of having people in your chat or community or whatever possibly feeling resentful because they're not receiving the same level of flirtatiousness or attention from your good friends that you give to your good friends?
Okay. Well, I can take this one or two ways. So, they feel like they're not getting attention during a stream. I do like to mention during especially very engaging streams, that I am in a collab with probably like 2 or more people. At that point, like my attention span like starts to go down. And I'll give a nod to like raids, follows if I can, you know, all of that stuff. But then I'll be like, guys, like I'm only one person, right? And you know, they start to get mad about that. If they start to get mad about that, honestly, I usually ban them. I usually get rid of them just because like I do give that disclosure that like, hey guys, by the way, I'm making this about the people I'm collabing with because I want them to have a good experience. Now you can have fun watching us, or you can go to another channel. So that's the option to go to the other channel. Is I just hit the block button. Pivoting off of that, what Mummy was probably, you know, laughing about is also friends using you as a lifeline to other creators.
Yes.
So if you have someone message you after like a month and of just like not talking at all, and they're like, hey, I want to talk to this person, like for better or for worse, it doesn't feel good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being that brazen?
Like that?
Messaging someone and saying, hey, I want to talk to this person? Well, go
Like,
talk
okay,
to the motherfucker.
go do it.
Yeah.
And no, and I understand you don't have a personal relationship with that person, but I mean, I was like, I can bring it up to them, I guess, but like they have socials and shit, like you can find your own avenues. It's just like, you're bringing it up to me, like someone who's like trying to like do my own thing, and you're like, oh, I want to get this person for this event, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll just be your messenger then. That's cool.
Yeah.
So like, wait, would that be like where you weren't invited? They just wanted to get to that other person?
Yeah, no, but it wasn't in a malicious way, but like it made me feel so
It's
shitty.
like, hey, you know
thoughtless,
this
yeah.
person, can you like invite them to this thing, basically? I get that all the time, by the way, as a fantasy creator. Like,
And
yeah.
I understand like if it's like being naive about it, but it's just like it just makes the creator that you put that through like feel like shit, especially like if it's a bigger creator that they know. You know?
You should charge them a referral fee.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Maybe more what I was sort of aiming towards. Like, let's say you have someone who's kind of like been active in your community for like, 3 or 4 months. They're friendly, they're nice, they're respectable.
No, they're completely nice.
Then you've got like, someone that you've known for like 3 years in chat also. And you flirt with this person, you collab with them sometimes. And the 3-monther is getting a little frustrated because they're not getting your attention in the same way your good buddy gets, essentially.
Oh, the number of people who get frustrated that Atra and I don't act towards them the way we act towards each other. And I'm like,
bond. That's
yeah.
like,
here's the thing. I don't mind it if it happens naturally. Like you get to know my friends and everything. Or like, oh, hey, can you put a collab together with me, you and this person? Even that I would accept, just because it's like, oh, you know, you're a big fan of this person, you know, I know this person, that would be a cute little thing. Let's find some other people to participate, whatever. I don't care. At that point, it's outside of my hands, and if you guys don't become friends after that, whatever.
I was gonna say,
which some people do use for that, but I didn't expect this person to do that. So, but when it's just going past me directly into a collaboration with someone else that they don't know, I'm just like, I don't know how I'm supposed to react to this. It feels bad.
Well, my thing was the reason I said Omen was because I've been in his chat before, where people have gotten like I've seen people get upset at him that he wasn't giving them attention. That's why I was like, Omen, you want to talk about this? Because sometimes I've been there before where people in his chat will like they'll be like, well, I guess I'll be leaving, you know, saying things like that,
right.
Like that kind of comments, and he's
answering mummy, like chat.
He's like, okay, bye, like, you know, just like, okay. But that's why I said that, like, not about the whole collab thing, but just I've seen people get like real salty towards.
And honestly, I'd rather them leave. I don't care, like, because like as content creators, how many like high level content creators do you see like answering every single question? Like, you know, very few of them. They recognize their friends. They recognize maybe like raiders and everything, but like. It's just an expectation that's placed on like smaller content creators and everything. But if you're dealing with a lot of people that you're collabing with and you want them to have a good experience, you know, just hanging out, having a good time like normal people, then occasionally you're gonna miss a few messages, you know, and that's the way it is.
And like, even if like there's a couple of people that like I flirt with recreationally that I know like are not going to but that I know are not going to like get creepy or too attached or like try and get me to leave my husband or my long-term partners or whatever. And like we're fellow lewd tubers, like we make off-color jokes to each other, and I'm like, if they pop up in my chat and I'm like, oh, I'll give you a little something, and like someone who's been in my chat for like, I don't know, once or twice will be like, ooh, you can give me a little something, and I was like, no. And then they get angry because I'm not acting towards them the way I'm acting towards like my LewdTuber friends.
Yeah, that's a thing that I see a lot, is people expecting like equity of like attention, and like that's just not how it works.
Yeah. I love that episode we had with Susie. It really like changed my outlook when she was like, you know what would be really hot if you were paying me. So yeah, if you want me to do that, you have to give me money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That joke fell so flat. I am sorry.
I expected a punchline.
That was the punchline.
Absolutely. Let's take the questions from Marshmallow, because they're very good actually. Here's a question from Marshmallow. Do people often confuse your boundaries with romance? Do they think you're playing hard to get?
Hell no. I'm a rude ass bitch. That's not, I mean, again, this comes back to like setting that expectation and that persona of yourself. So I'm not shy about who I am, and I'm not afraid to like kind of throw it at my chat if they're okay with throwing it back. So that's just kind of the chem I have with my audience, at least. Not throwing it back right now.
Look at that tail go.
Chat, throw it back.
Yeah, titty slap.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay.
For
you, I will allow it.
For me, I mean, I have incredibly high standards. So like it might be considered hard to get, but it's just like high standards. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe if somebody, because I'm poly, so, and I am in a relationship, I have a partner. But
sorry. I'm sorry.
That was such a dad joke. Oh my god.
Bigshot. I'm full of puns. I'm sorry.
I love it. I'm poly, but at the same time, like, I mean, I'm unromanceable because like nobody kind of hits my. I feel like nobody has been able to like actually make me want to date them because I have such high standards. And so, like, and by high standards, I mean probably normal standards.
Normal standards.
Yeah.
High for the internet.
Human behavior.
Yeah.
Impossible on the internet.
Show me proof.
Minimum
Show me proof right now.
I was like, I watched, I think her name is Ali Wong's comedy special.
Oh,
my God,
yes.
I love her.
I love her.
Oh yeah, and so she was saying how like this guy bought her like a bunch, who's now her boyfriend, bought her a bunch of roses or flowers at every single new venue she went to for her comedy special, right? And every time she went to a new hotel or whatever, it was a bigger bouquet, right? And to the end, at the end, like her last show, there was like 6 life-size bouquets of flowers, right?
Mhm.
And she was like, oh my God. So she tells all her lady friends this first. And they're like, oh my God, he's so romantic. Like, marry him. And she's like, wow, she's single. And then she told all her guy friends, and all her guy friends were like, he's fucking crazy. Are you okay? Do I need to call the cops for you? And she was like, how fucking cheap and lazy have men gotten that any romantic gesture is a undiagnosed psychological issue.
I'm real.
And so I was like, right? I was like, I want fucking roses. I want somebody to come up to me and be like, hey, mommy, I heard you got $1,000 on your credit card. I want to pay off that debt for you, baby.
Real shit.
And I swear to God, that is where my Unromanceable title will go away. All right? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, he's trying to take care of me and support me the way I need to be taken care of and supported. Like, yes, why would I
Consolidate
not?
my debt, baby girl.
Yes, like I'm an adult, okay? I don't want chocolate and roses. I want you to be like, baby girl, are you having trouble with paying off all those credit cards because you were addicted to gacha? And I'm gonna be like, yeah. And he's gonna be like, here, baby, I got you.
I remember one time I cried to one of my viewers. Like, I was like, oh my God, this guy was like really mean to me, and he sent me $1,000, and he was like, for reparations. I'm sorry,
Oh
men are
my
like this to you.
God.
Hey,
Yes,
Wow. Can someone send me some reparations, please? I know I'm a white British woman, so that like it's problematic for me to ask that.
Me personally, I have $5. And
I mean,
that's
I'll
what you
take it.
spent on the weekends. You know?
But imagine, like, okay, you give me your $5 and you only have that to spend on the weekend. Imagine a guy who has $1,000 and only gives me $5. The $5 means more than their $5 does.
Oh, well, you know
That's all
what? You
you
heard
had.
it. You heard it. All right,
Oh,
here's
you
my
know what?
$5, Atra. I got you.
That's all you had. Ah, that's a $5.
Just kidding, it's time.
I used to say it to Omen all the time. I'm like, here's my $5. Can you eat this week now? Buy you some ramen.
Nobody got me. Omen got me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But there are so many things that you can do that aren't even financially based as well. Like,
Yeah.
make a little bit of effort. But like,
Yeah,
if they think that you saying no actually means convince me, then they are a creep, and you need to cut them out of your
That
life.
is so fucked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
No, absolutely.
No is no, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I've
That's the
heard
core of
this
it.
say that so many times. Is like, yeah, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And they're like, well, when are you gonna be ready? And I was like, well, I don't know. bro.
Whenever I
Like,
feel
Girl, just
ready.
hit Microwave Express again. Like, and we'll
I'm
keep
like, I'm
going
not
around this.
sidekick. I'm not sidekick.
I'm not a vending machine. I don't have a cooldown
The
time.
BFE vending machine.
and the more they push, I'm just like, man, this is gross. Like, is this what you're like in a relationship? Because like, hopefully not.
Oh my God. Okay, so there was a guy who like he was a real thirst boy, like a real fuck me boy. And he'd like
that.
send me pictures of his car. And like I wasn't at one point he was texting me on Discord like twice a day and I wasn't replying. Anyway, so eventually I was like, okay, you need to calm the fuck down because this isn't gonna happen. And we had a very like pleasant resolution to the discussion, and you know, things were fine. And then we had another conversation where things were going okay, and he started being like, oh, I'll be your pet, haha, joking, unless, and like, ooh, wouldn't it be so crazy if we did this? And I was like, no. And I ended the conversation. But then
It would be crazy.
And then I got messages from another LewTuber friend of mine who was like, "Oh, this guy so and so is like, he's really like pushing my boundaries, and I'm so uncomfortable." And I was like, "It was the same guy."
Same guy.
Of course, they travel.
like-
They travel.
Yeah, I was like,
They travel.
"Oh God."
They hopscotch to different content creators. Anybody who'll give them attention. They just try to fling their dick anywhere they could land. It's like a bullseye. They're like, let's see where it lands. I hate them. I hate the ones that are like that. Yeah, I hate the ones that are like
cornhole.
that.
God.
Oh my god,
grossest stuff.
he'll try everybody in the fucking friend group. Trust me.
Well, it was like that a certain crow-based VTuber that got like thoroughly cancelled for very good reasons. Who was like literally DMing someone, and when they said no, would like DM their friend, and when they said no, keep DM the next person. And like once it all came out and people started comparing notes, like holy shit.
That's because he went to her friend list and saw who all her closest friends were, or went to the bottom of her Twitch page and saw all the other female VTubers that she fucking recommended and tried with each of them. That's why they do that.
This is why, like 2 TwitchCons ago, I was warned about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Ember says, in the salon industry, we call clients like that chair hoppers. When we fire them, they just go harass a new nail tech.
Yeah. I need to get my nails done again.
Me too. Let's go together.
Yeah. Oh my god. I swear my nails were so good at TwitchCon. I'm about to send a picture.
I love
Oh my god, my nails are so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh my god, nail art is
nails.
so relaxing to watch though. I love watching compilations.
Right? I remember the first time I was getting my nails done, like a SNS dip powder. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna take so long. Like, what am I supposed to do? Be in my thoughts?" And I'm literally like, eyes glued to my nails. I'm like, "This is so fascinating. This is like not anything that I do or make. It's just very fun to watch the process."
Like, Omen, how are you gonna get your nails done when you won't have somebody there to help you put all your clothes on? Huh?
You know?
Where are his
Like,
nails that he needs to
seriously.
take his clothes off?
His nails were so big at TwitchCon. He'd come around
They
like,
were
"Can you help me
claws.
with this?
They were
Can you help
claws.
me with this?" Yeah, they were
Oh.
like talons. They were like.
I
You're
love
like,
that family
go
guy
after
clip
the
of her
manicure.
typing with the nails.
Yeah,
Bro,
Lawanda,
bro.
I can talk.
Every time I got my phone out, I was like, wait, give me like 2 minutes.
I was picturing you having to dress him like immediately after his manicure, and I was like,
No,
where are
he
his
was-
nails that he
Fucking
needs to
Edward
like?
Scissorhands.
Like with his earrings and stuff too, and we were like helping each other because I got my nails done too. But she had hurt me, and like I'm serious, she did hurt me.
Yeah.
My fingers have like scars on them, like
Oh,
where
God.
they.
I had a good tech. Yours was like it didn't look like they wanted to be there. They didn't speak any English to you at all. So
the scars are
I'm
still on
like
my
I'm
fingers.
checking Twitter for Omen's like nail pic now.
He'll send it to you.
I got it. I'll put it in the group
Show
chat.
it off.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he'll-
okay.
He'll send
While
it.
y'all do that, I'm gonna get to this
Yeah.
question from Marshmallow.
Mhm.
This is a good one, actually. I think this came from Karma, maybe in chat. I think that was their name. How have you ever run into issues setting boundaries with someone you genuinely want to be closer with platonically, but it was towing a line of romantic interest that you didn't reciprocate? How did or would you navigate that? I
Man.
get this a lot. I get this a lot. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm a LewTuber, and some people I just genuinely like, yo, I want to be friends with you. And they're like, yeah, you wanna fuck? And I'm just like, whoa.
No.
Yeah,
hang on.
It's just like it really sucks when you're really like hitting it off with someone really well. You think you're gonna have like this really good friend that you can have banter with, but when it comes out that I'm a lesbian and I love my wife and think about my wife and oh my god, have I told you about my wife? Suddenly I'm just like I'm just a stranger. That shit is so exhausting and daunting. Like, am I not a person? Am I only worth acknowledging when I'm an object of your affection? Like, it sucks.
Attainable, romanceable, so to speak.
Talk that
Also,
talk.
Bia,
Mm.
I don't know what you were like. You were saying you have like a sore throat or whatever, but your voice sounds like really good.
Thanks. I mean, what's the twisted part is that
Yeah.
I actually like how I sound when I'm sick too, and I talk, and I should not be talking.
It's
But
like
I like listening to it.
you sound like
Giving,
such a sex kitten.
1960s
Yeah.
Marilyn.
Thanks, I'll see you out back, honey. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Also, Omen, these are some talents. My God.
Told
Yeah.
you.
They were
like
glistening, and
proper
everybody,
talents.
Big.
everybody commented on them. Me and Kitty got a side by side. I still need him to send me the picture, but
Ooh,
yeah,
I like.
we were basically matching, and I was like, oh my god, I love this for us because it was Kitty McPancakes. I didn't actually meet him until last TwitchCon. I didn't know who he was, and then like I met him. He's like, oh my god, this is the coolest dude I've ever met in my life. Like he's so chill.
that's
He
so
invited
cool.
me over to like hang out at his hot tub like upon just meeting him. And it was super cool, but like I wish I could have hung out with him more, but I caught him around the rear end and we hung out and we took like selfies and shit.
I'm sorry, you what?
What?
The rear end of the con, not
You caught him around the rear end?
Rear end of the
Ooh.
con.
the rear end.
Right, okay.
The con.
Sorry.
The con. Come on.
We were
now.
talking about like getting
Come on.
closer to people platonically, and like I was picturing you just going up and grabbing his ass.
Okay.
Not with these not these talents.
I know, that would hurt.
I mean that some people like that. Anyways, as far as the boundaries for someone you generally want to be close to, yeah, I get a lot of that honestly with content creators more than anybody. Just because like you don't know what to expect until you meet them, and then like you get along for a little bit, and then like they like kind of like their intentions come through, and then it's just kind of like
Or the worst is when it's like usually like pussyfooting questions that are like trying to find an opening, and then they deliberately act flirty, and I'm like, ick. Never mind, you're
Like-
too excited.
When they say those joking things that are actually testing your boundaries and they think you don't notice.
What if we haha unless basically?
Yeah. Like I would say I passed the charisma check, so I have a pretty good nose about when someone's shooting their shot like that, but it's just it's like, what do I do? I don't want to like act ignorant to it. That's just never been my style.
Hey,
So I'm pretty head on and try to assert like, listen, I'm joking. Like I'm pretty flirty and naturally in my personality, but it's not fucking serious.
yeah. This is why like usually I'm not that close to people unless like I meet them in VC or I meet them in person. You know, it is like I kind of like disconnect from that, and I don't really know like what their game is, like what vibe they're giving off. And then like once I talk to someone, I can actually kind of tell their intentions beyond the voice. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, I like to be quite direct when talking about that kind of thing. Like, if there is someone that I find interesting, I would be like, listen, you're a great friend. I love hanging out with you. I would be interested in like having some fun together, but like that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I like you as a friend. So balls in your court. I've said what I need to say. And it's the people who like try and weasel their way in and think that I'm too dumb to notice or something.
That
like,
part.
You're not
Oh my
you're not
God.
slick.
yeah.
Yes, people think because I'm so floaty and like kind of bimbo core, it's like they think they could, slide a sly one in there. And I'm like, no, I hold the cards, not you.
Yeah.
I've got sort of a controversial question here, and there was no right answer to this question. I'm just putting it out. I'm putting it out right up top.
Oh, God.
There is no
Gird
right
your
answer to
loins,
this
everybody.
question.
Here we go.
And your answers, your feelings on this are completely valid, no matter which way you come up.
Controversial question? Give it to me, because I will answer it bluntly as possible.
Oh yeah.
Me as well.
What do you-
Me and Mummy will
That is
also
like a-
argue for
that is-
20 minutes if we
yeah.
have to.
That is like a I dare you question. Like, I
Sure.
dare you,
Okay,
Mummy.
here we
Answer
go,
this.
here we
Yeah,
go,
let's
here we
go.
go.
Fuck. Okay, yeah.
What do you feel about the opinion that creators, especially ones that do BFE or GFE, should reveal their relationship status to their audience so as not to avoid misleading them?
Oh, fuck you.
Okay.
Sorry.
I feel like I feel like that is I have a strong feelings for the BFE community in general. My thing is this. That community is incredibly easy to turn parasocial, okay? No different than the adult content circle, right? I feel like with that kind of content, there has to be a level of responsibility from the content creator to form strict boundaries, right? I feel like that's a lot of things that sometimes content creators kind of toe around because it is going to probably hurt their bottom line if they don't form those strict boundaries, right?
Right.
So my thing is that you don't have to disclose your relationship status as a content creator in general to people. You don't have to do that. I'm very candid, so I will always be honest with my community as much as possible, and that's why I came in with a partner. You know, I was like, hey, this is my partner, you know. But I don't feel like everybody has to do that. But at the same time, I also don't feel like it's okay to purposely lead people on like with romantic content if you have absolutely no actual kind of thought behind it that you're going to engage in that with them. I understand that it's the content, but it's so easy to become parasocial in those circles to somebody who's giving you, it's like playing a dating game, but guess what, the person is real and they're giving you like real compliments and, you know, attention and stuff. So it's so easy to fall into the fantasy of, oh my god, this person actually likes me, you know, because they're not forming a boundary, or if it's not just ASMR, you know, and it's actually that boyfriend content on their stream where it's live and they're, you know, giving you compliments, oh baby girl, I miss you, have you, you know, and again, that's fine, we all act that way. I'm sweetheart this, sweetheart that, left and right, but then if it goes into your DMs and it's on a one-on-one personal basis and you're not drawing a line or a boundary, and then you get a cancel doc that comes out on you because you were talking to like 20 girls at the same time, talking to them exactly the same way, like, are you surprised you didn't form a boundary? You know, they were sending you, you know, nudes and whatever. Like, I mean, again, I feel like because what you're essentially doing, I feel like personally, sometimes there's been a lot of content creators that I feel like it's almost reverse parasocial behavior. We call parasocial behavior the behavior that like only possibly, that we have the mindset that only a viewer can have that behavior to the content creator. That's not correct. The content creator can also have that feeling toward their viewership as well, a possessive nature, a, you know, this is my nature, and they will sometimes do things to make sure that that person doesn't go off and find another waifu or another husbando, and so they're doing these things, and that's manipulation, that's coercion. You're essentially gaslighting them to think that you're in a relationship with them when you're really not. So I feel like there's so much responsibility that goes behind being a content creator in those spaces, especially, as well as the adult content creation boundaries. You know, I'm not talking to every person that messages me or sends me, you know, a picture of their ding dong and saying, oh my god, I can't wait to see you at TwitchCon next year so I can, you know, pogo that thing, you know. You just don't, you don't give false hope to people, you know.
Well, the thing is, Mummy, like, you are absolutely valid about like boundaries and people leading other people on in order to use them as resources. The thing that I would add is that setting those boundaries should be the same whether you're in a relationship or not. If you have no intention of like pursuing whoever it is, even if you're single, it still sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like whether or not you're in a relationship or not, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. But again, that's the thing. So yeah, and I would say any kind of content creator you are, not just the boyfriend girlfriend sphere, like the boyfriend girlfriend content, any kind of content, like the adult content, a space that one, people can get parasocial really quick. But the thing, I think that the reason people hone in so much on the boyfriend content, the girlfriend content, is because of the kind of content that they're putting out on a daily basis, even on their social media platforms, where they're like, oh baby girl, I've missed you so much today, you know, and it's like things like that, and it's like just to like a million people, and a million people reply back with, oh my god, daddy, I miss you, you know, and they're replying back with, yeah, oh, I woke up thinking about you today, darling, you know. And so you're giving them that back and forth. They're feeling and this is the thing, and I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, and I apologize. I will end it soon, but this is because I have strong feelings about this. This is the thing. I feel bad for people because we've all been lonely, right? We've all been vulnerable, right? Where we've been in a bad headspace or something, and we find a content creator that's our comfort creator, right? That we could, or a cozy creator that makes us feel safe, that makes us feel special, that makes us feel seen, that makes us feel heard, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's hard to not form an attachment to a content creator. You know, you want to see them do good, you buy them gifts, or you know, you're at every stream, and you're not trying to break that boundary, you're not trying to make them uncomfortable, but for some reason you find yourself getting maybe a little crush on them, starting to have feelings for them. I don't blame anybody for when that happens, okay? I'm not gonna be like, you know, you're a piece of shit, you're a monster. No, we're all human, we all have emotions, sometimes we can't help ourselves. Right. If the content creator is over there like with a fan fueling that fire, like, yeah, baby, come to me, you know, they have a responsibility too. It doesn't all fall on the parasocial viewer. Yeah, I feel like that's my thing. You can't always blame the parasocial viewer. And a lot of people want to quickly jump on that. Well, they were parasocial. Oh yeah, well, how are you messaging them? You know, how are you behaving toward them? We're not seeing your DMs. We're just seeing that one little clip where they went psychotic, you know, and message you like, I'm not supporting you anymore because I feel very, you know, led on this by this, you know, and now I saw how you were flirting with that guy on stream, and now I'm upset. Okay, that does sound very not safe and not okay, but how did all that how did it get there? You know, sometimes it is unwarranted, and I came out of nowhere, and they really are crazy. But sometimes there was like months of conversation between the both of y'all where you're like, I'm so lonely, I wish you were here cuddling me and holding my hand, you know. So that's how I feel about it. I feel like there's a level of responsibility from all parties involved, and I feel like it's so much easier because I've always said this, that content creators, VTubers, content creators in general, they almost have a cult-like following. The difference between a cult leader and a content creator is very slim. If you have like the charisma, you know, you can make them almost do anything for you. If I go on, I went on Twitter the other day, not so long ago, and was like, I sure miss getting flowers. I got like 3 people sending me money for flowers almost instantly. And that's the thing, we don't realize how much power our words have. So you have to be very careful with how you handle your viewership.
Right, because then they're thinking, well, if I send mummy flowers, then X will happen. Like this will happen.
Right, but just that, because they know like that nothing's going to happen there. I'm just saying that if that is a sign of what I'm able to do with just wanting flowers, what else can I do? How much further can I take it? You know, like what else can I get from them? You know, if I abuse that power that I have over a very loving and caring community, you know.
I think that you are absolutely right. I think it drifted a little bit from the original question. Which was, do people have a duty or a responsibility to disclose whether they're in a relationship if they do any kind of BFE or GFE content?
I think was no, they don't have to. I said no, they don't have to, but should they still be like very open with not wanting to be in a relationship? Yes, that's what I said. And I said
absolutely. I'm just bringing it back around.
Oh yeah,
because it was like we sort of had a conversation that went in a couple of places.
So actually, I'm going to say that we will actually come back to that in a bit about sort of the responsibility that creators have as well. But I think Omen's been wanting to say something, so I'm going to jump to Omen right now.
Yeah, just sorry. Pivoting off of what Mummy said, I expected us to kind of disagree because we disagree about a lot of things. Like Twitter is a war site, guys. Like whenever like opinions start getting thrown around, like me and Mummy are both very opinionated. So we both like speak very loudly, and then like later on we'll discuss it further in DMs and be like, well, this is how I feel about this, and this is how I feel about this. It's like, okay, well, you don't have to feel that about that. But I do agree 100% about. I'm sorry if this is going a little bit off topic, but so the idea about the BFE, the GFE, right? So because I believe that was part of the question, is people like a lot of people pay for that sort of service and everything. Whenever it gets to a day by day social media presence of manipulating your audience into feeling like they're getting this experience from you to the masses, I disagree with it entirely. I don't like it at all. So I don't know. I feel like it's disingenuous, and it's just like farming, you know, engagement or like people's emotions, which I'm fine with farming engagement, you know, whatever you get for the clicks. But whenever you like bring people's emotions into the mix, you know, like telling someone something they really want to hear, that feels manipulative. That feels like you've analyzed the human psyche and you're like, oh, this is what people like to hear. Okay, I'm going to post this on social media. No.
We actually did a great discussion about this in the episode called The Parasocial Tightrope, about how we're sort of, we're treading in that sort of no man's land of like, we, to some extent, sell intimacy, whether it's BFE or not. You know, it's a live, like, back and forth. And like how we can ethically manage that, like that sort of treading through no man's land, so that it doesn't become like parasitic, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen a lot of that going around, and that I disagree with. I think if you're paying for BFE, GFE, or like, you know, that's part of your content, that's something you do with your community, that's fine. As long as you're not putting out as your brand that like, oh, this is how I feel about you every time you do this, or I'm like, I don't know, man, that kind of to me is very manipulative. So and then like, if you are to get mad whenever someone is like, oh my god, it's so good to see you, I miss you, honey, or whatever, like you're constantly talking compassionately to the broad audience, I'm kind of like, okay, well. And there's a difference between like light flirting between friends and like, you know, just like bleed your heart out romance, just like,
yeah, well, you're simulating a whole relationship versus like a flirty interaction that lasts like as long as that it like back and forth lasts, right?
Yeah, which again, like if you want to pay for the experience and that's a thing that people are interested in, sure. It's not anything that like I have any experience with, but you know, I know people do that. So
yeah. As someone who has experience as a BFE streamer, I will say that the biggest change for me in like sort of enforcing my boundaries and sort of making this clear that this is a performance was actually getting into sex work in general. Because when this all became transactional and you pay me to give you that experience, then I think the boundaries are very clear. Because I have basically stopped doing BFE on Twitch, and it's like, if you want to you want me to call you a good girl, tell you like, you know, all these big good words, you're gonna have to go on the blue site. I'm sorry. Like
same.
Right.
I gave like waifu experience originally, and now it's like, nope, that's a transaction. Sorry.
Yeah, it has to be a transaction. So you have to understand that you're paying for this.
Yep. Because that way the lines don't get blurred.
I just wanted to like clarify, because I'm very British and apologetic and anxious, that I was agreeing with and adding to your point. I wasn't like contradicting you.
No, I understood that. Yeah.
Stop laughing at me,
Stop being
Atra.
British.
No, I can't.
That's
You
okay.
guys
I
stole
actually went
all
to
our
college
tea.
in the UK.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you know what we're like.
My
my
father is
God.
almost also English.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like make sure that you knew that I was like adding to your point.
Yeah.
Not that I was contradicting you, because like there is absolutely a difference between like me going, "Ooh, mummy, you're so pretty, come over here, baby girl," versus
Yo.
and like that flirtation lasts as long as like we were speaking those words, and then it's done. I'm not then like trying to hook mummy in DMs with like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what the inspiration for this question was. And like, no shade to this person whatsoever, but there are people who occasionally post on Twitter like if I had a partner, like I would tell everybody that I had one, and I don't get when people just like hide their partners, especially the terminology "hide your partners." It implies that you're doing something suspicious by
Yeah.
hiding your partner. So I kind of like was thinking about that, because I'm like, we say all the time this is not a dating app, and like, we are unromanceable. So why would people care if you have a partner or not? Is kind of like, because like that post has tons of interactions, like hundreds of likes, hundreds of reposts, like people like, yeah, so valid, so valid. I'm like, wait a second.
The only people that you are responsible for like revealing your partner to are your other intimate partners, if you have them.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
otherwise-
episode, by the way.
Yeah, like otherwise, whether or not I have a boyfriend or whatever really shouldn't matter.
It really shouldn't.
Yeah, because then like people might try to get involved. It's a whole mess. Like especially over the media. I don't blame people for hiding that sort of thing. I think once you get into the whole like, you're getting into the girlfriend experience, boyfriend experience, it's definitely a conversation. But
This can absolutely happen for even if you don't do BFE. And I think of, and I do apologize, like trigger warning, drugs and suicide. Like for that fella from One Direction that died the other day. Like people are blaming his girlfriend for like leaving him in that situation, or like, going home or whatever it is. And it's like, why do you feel entitled to sort of comment on this guy's personal decisions that put him in that place, essentially?
Situation, yeah.
Exactly.
all we should feel at the death of a human life is mourning. We shouldn't place blame. Unless someone is directly to blame and we have proof of that, then we shouldn't place blame. Human life is for mourning. That is it.
Like you said about like the whole like revealing whether or not you have a boyfriend or not or whatever. My thing is this though too, like when it comes down to it, like me personally, I wouldn't want to hide my partner, because also I don't want somebody to support me under the guise that I'm single or don't have one too. But that's just me as a person. Like, because there's so many people out there that don't want to support somebody if they have a partner. I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't watch me because I have a partner. And I don't want to like keep that like manipulation going of oh yeah, I'm unromanceable, but you never know, you might have a chance, kind of like to have them think that. Because again, if you don't want to support me with a partner, then I don't want your support. Like, that's just me personally. I don't think anybody has to follow that. And I'm not going to judge people for not disclosing their romantic relationship to their communities. That is their choice. And again, that is their money and their bottom line. But I think that there is also a moral and ethical thing that comes down to it too. If you are like openly flirting with these people to get their money and stuff, and you are not telling them that you are in a relationship, then I feel like then at the same time, you're more like you're tiptoeing the whole moral ethical kind of thing of, well, you're not really being honest with them either.
Yeah, no, you're so right for that.
You're taking their money under the guise that you're single, and all those guys are falling in love with you and giving you all this money and all these gifts because they think you're single and they have a chance. I don't think that's morally right. I don't think that that's right of you, because the second, if they did find out, if you know for a fact that if they found out that you had a partner and then they would stop supporting you and you're still flirting with them and stuff, then that's fucked up on you. Like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't play with people's emotions and stuff.
My personal sort of feeling on this is like, as a BFE like provider, is that I recognize that what I'm providing is temporary and that people are going to leave once they have that need fulfilled, and that's 100% okay. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, however much you want to support me or not support me, like, I'm not going to give you the unreasonable expectation you're gonna get with me. Like, I'm in my middle 30s and just depressed and tired, and you're not gonna be able to date me. You don't want to date me. You don't want. I'm just.
And that's valid whether you're single or whether you have a partner as well.
Right.
Like, I think Bia has been. Like, have you been trying to talk? I've noticed your model twitching.
No, I've been quiet throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was concerned that we were just like we were talking too much.
Oh no, I mean you guys were having your discussion. I don't really have anything to like contribute here because I truly can't speak much to being private about your the relationship because I'm public with mine.
Right.
It's also just kind of tricky because I am pro getting your bag however you can. So I know it's hard out there, you know,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that you can't like set your expectation and also like, you know, make firm with your boundaries like Mummy says. So that's just really important to it.
So, Bia, did you ever have a thought maybe that you wouldn't want to be public about your relationship, or is it always something that you've always wanted to be sort of out and outspoken about?
I was private about it for a period at the very beginning, but I think that and this is like no shade also to like my wife, like this is like what we discussed. Like she felt like I was hiding her, and I was like, I'm not. I just think that, you know, I think it's important to have your privacy, and if people want to keep like their personal lives, like power to them. I completely understand. Like people can be batshit crazy and they'll take any thread that they can get to start unraveling you. And that was like my main concern. I was like, no, I did that because I was afraid that people would start messaging you and trying to get to me through that. And I would rather not get into that rigmarole. But honestly, like having been like, I mean, I've been majority of the time, I think 90% of my streaming career has now been like me being public about my relationship and telling people like I love my wife. I bring her on streams. We have date night a lot of the time. People really enjoy that. They're really receptive to that. So it's been nothing but like a good thing, honestly, to be public about my relationship. But again, that is my experience. Other people, they can have whatever their reasons are, and that's completely valid.
Absolutely.
May I say one more thing on the...
Actually, by the way.
What's that?
You two look like a lovely couple.
I love her so much. I love my wife.
Aww.
Go ahead,
I was just looking to say like one more thing about it. So as far as the privacy of like a relationship is concerned, I think like it should definitely be a conversation about the relationship and like, you know, how they want to go about it and everything. So and whenever they have that conversation, it's like, okay, you know, we'd rather keep it like private or whatever. Or like if you are poly and you're thinking about bringing other people in, or you're getting closer to someone else, you know, then you know, you obviously discuss that with them, and then you discuss it with the person involved, and then but you know, over the internet it does get a little complex just because like everybody will be paying attention. So I totally get wanting to leave that shit out, but like at the same time, like it's kind of like, you know, everything that you're doing you should bring up. because like, yeah, that's how the Google Docs start, and you don't want that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like I'm telling you, just like be honest about everything that's going on in your life, and you'll be good.
Yes.
Like honestly, I don't get how people get in these many of situations, probably because they're greedy. But it's just like, and also like they're like, I see it all the time, man. I see it all the time, man. And I'm like, okay, so you want to talk to this person, but you like this person. I'm like, well, just talk to one of them about it. And then if they're not open to it, like, then that's your decision as an adult. Are you staying in that relationship, or are you getting out of it? Because like, You can't just balance both because people talk over the internet and you're gonna get fucked up, mate. So yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just like, and as far as the audience is concerned, it's up to them. I know a lot of people don't tell their audience anything about them, like their personal life or anything, for a good reason, which is fair enough. But personal life wise, a TOS would be very nice. Like if you put out a TOS, like all of these things that I communicate you during this service are in fact due to your service and not my personal feelings. Just quantifying that, it's just like, yes,
I've literally got that in a panel underneath my stream. For that reason.
I'm doing this because you paid me for it. Okay.
So many ASMR artists and like writers have to like be very clear about this. It's this audio that I'm doing for you, this thing that I'm writing is not my personal reflection. It's not about you. It's just like this is just entertainment.
Right.
Yeah. And I think a simple TOS would solve all of these issues. But honestly, like in some cases it should be common sense, but you know, if you're getting into the scene, then you should definitely develop a TOS maybe with some people that are experienced with it, if you have some friends, and you know, sort that out.
I think it's tough because like when you do, even if you're not doing BFE or GFE content, when you first start becoming a VTuber and you get all this attention, like all this positive attention, you're like the hottest thing in the world, and like you're getting so many DMs and things like that, like it can be a little tough to sort of like deal with that. It might swell your head a little bit. You might want to like,
it's very flattering.
It's very flattering, yeah, especially if you don't have that. You didn't grow up like that, or you didn't like, you know, you're like swiping away at Tinder.
Not used to the attention, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of us aren't used to the attention. I wasn't used to the attention when I started out, and like it was tough to deal with because I realized I had to pull myself back and realize like not everyone in your DMs, like if they're in your DMs, they've done this to other people too.
Yeah. And they don't want the best for you. They just want you right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had a big conversation about that, about like canceled documents, about things like that, you know, regarding the getting too much attention stuff. And I was like, it's because, you know, these guys who are kind of like, you know, like not to hate on anybody, these guys and girls are like average, normal looking people in their day-to-day life. You know, they pull out like, oh look, I'm a sexy kitsune now, you know, and everybody's like in love with them, and they're just, you know, they weren't maybe popular in high school or just never had a big love life or whatever, you know.
Yeah, the mean girls thing. Like suddenly you're hot and you can live out all your mean girls fantasies.
Exactly. Yeah. And then suddenly you're the, you know, like top shit. And so then it goes to their head. And then of course, then they're doing all this like heinous shit behind closed doors because they don't know how to behave. They've never had that kind of power before.
Right. Fuck everybody else.
Yes. And I'm like, bro, like I had called one of my best friends who originally wasn't a VTuber. He was like just like this cool guy who was like very quiet and nice and like submissive and just really, really sweet. Suddenly, you know, he had like a model and stuff, and he changed and stopped like hanging out and stuff, and like suddenly he had like all these girls chasing after him and stuff. And I was like, and I openly called him to his face. I was like, dude, you're a fuckboy. You're like juggling so many girls right now. Like that's not okay. I was like, and I know what it is. I was like, I know what it is. You never got any attention from the ladies before. And now suddenly it's like, oh my god, I can have all of them. You mean I can have all
behavior?
Okay, right. So Mummy's calling me out right now. Thank you, Mummy.
Oh my god, it wasn't you. I'm sorry. Oh my god, it's not you.
No, but it was me a little bit though.
I mean, you know, like when I mean, lucky for me, I guess I was a slut in high school and college, so I never felt that way when I became popular as a VTuber. I was just like, okay.
All right, I have some more questions prepared here that I want to get to before we sort of end off, and actually would probably direct this next question to Bia, but I'm going to give my like sort of take on it first before I do, to give Bia a little bit of time to think about it. So this is about the anime culture, actually. So anime culture in particular, of which VTubing is partially based on, often has the trope of the romantic confession. in which one has to confess their feelings to an unwitting target of affection. Whether you've experienced this or not, how would you deal with someone confessing a sudden romantic interest in you? So this is about people shooting their shot at you and sort of doing this sort of like stereotypical like in the hallway love letter, like go out with me please, sukiyate kudasai, sort of like bullshit.
Right.
I
Them
think
running
that sort of
away.
Right.
found its way into VTubing a little bit because like you
Yeah.
drop a DM on somebody sometimes like I love you, go out with me, whatever it is.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten like anonymous messages being like, I don't know, almost weirdly purifying me too. And I studied a lot in like what I guess it means to be pure, and I think I recently said on a stream that pure to me is someone who is experienced and traveled and still kind throughout it all. And I had like this person who messaged me anonymously being like, it really makes me sad when I see lewd pictures of you because I would much rather you be like wholesome and stuff. And I was like, when did I ever start like giving you that impression that I was meant to, like, what is this, Captain Save-A-Ho in my inbox right now?
There's so many Captain Save-A-Hos out
There are so many Captain Save-A-Hos. It like, and there was another person who said, you make me so happy, like I have feelings for you and stuff. And I said, listen, I appreciate the sentiment, don't make it a perfect blue. And if anyone's seen that movie, like, it would be the guy who was stalking Mima. And it's like he's obsessed with her, but like in an unhealthy way that is going to damage her. And unwarranted at that. So I've just, again, come with it with understanding because, again, big fan of love over here. Like, feelings are great, and I'm not going to control other people's feelings. If they have them, they have them. So I just say, like, I appreciate the sentiment, truly. Just like, I'm married. I'm married, happily married. Shout out to Delam Clouds, who's in chat still, I think. But that's just kind of how I approach a lot of the time. I'm just kind of very blank about it. Like, I appreciate the sentiment. Don't get too weird. Like, that's it.
Yeah, there's a great song by Sarah J. Tucker called "Go Away, God Boy" about this, about that phenomenon of the Captain Save-A-Ho, and it's like, thanks for the invitation, but I've already thought this through. If I'm not one of the chosen, I won't have to put up with you. Who wants to go to heaven when your stalker meets you there? Better a whore of Babylon, baby.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
Good.
a great example, I think.
That's me. I'm the whore of Babylon. That's their
I'm the whore of New York. But
Same here. Cohorts of New York. Cohorts of New York. Let's go. Real whores of
the
New
subway
York.
series of whores.
Don't anymore. It's too
The Mets.
expensive.
Let's go Yankees.
Ain't no way. Get out. Get out of
Oh,
this
yeah.
right now.
Oh yeah. We're starting that.
What?
Yeah.
You're not a Mets fan, are you?
I'm a
Rachel?
Mets fan. Queens born raised.
No. What?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yankees. What?
Oh
What?
God.
Get out of here.
The Mets.
Not the
I'm
Mets.
leaving.
I remember seeing very specific content from Astra about the Mets winning, and I was like, all right,
Ew.
so that's how
It
it's
was
going
a
to be
heavily
between us.
emotional time for me.
Oh
I cried for the first time in years.
my God. Yeah, because
It was not the first time in
Yeah.
years. I've
That's
seen you
fair.
cry on stream.
That is a Mets fan right then there.
Oh my God. I love that. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but back to the question. Like, I really do think like VTubing and like idol culture sort of encourages people to take big swings. Like, if I just like shoot my shot and be really sincere about it, if I'm just the nicest guy or nicest girl about it, they'll abandon like everything else and just be with me. And it's difficult because like I get where some people come from. Like, if you engender very strong feelings in people, they're gonna try to get more of those feelings, and they might think that that feeling might come through dating you. And again, this is not even about fans at this point. It's about other creators. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, because like with fans, with viewers, it's very easy to be like, no, you're a viewer, creator. Like, this is a performance. This is not a dating app. Blocked.
Yeah.
It gets way more difficult when it comes to other creators. Yeah.
There are some creators who like have entire fucking harems.
Definitely more so in like 2022. But being honest,
Okay.
that was a very 2022 to 2023 vibe.
Oh, I just mean like they cultivate like a network of people that they're fucking and haven't necessarily told each other about. And
Imagine getting that. Sheesh.
I digress.
Could be us, unromanceables.
So the reason why I asked that question is because of the next question, so to speak, which is piggybacking on that last question. How do you recognize if someone is love bombing and or shooting their shot with multiple creators? Consider this the fuckboy/thirst void question.
they message you and say, oh my god, this guy is making me really uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh my god, he's been messaging me too.
Oh no. That is so fucking like it's so they're so transparent. They're
Yeah.
just so transparent. Like, come on, they're hitting up all the homegirls, you know. They're like hanging out at like watching your stream and her stream, and they're, you know, and you just know because they're like oh my god, and they're saying the same lines in their stream as your stream, and especially when you're friends with these, you know, other content creators that they're like, you know, trying to get in on, and then in comes the love confession of, oh my god, I love you so much, you're like my favorite, you know, streamer. I'm like, dude, I saw you say that to fucking what's her name on her stream like 2 days ago.
It's so off-putting. It like genuinely, like I've like stopped responding to people because I saw them like in every other guy's chat. I'm just like, you're just walking around like we're BFE vending machines, and they got mad at me. They like unfriended me, unfollowed me, blocked me. I'm just like I don't
calling it how it is.
Doing, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you just like, and I've openly like told some people like this, like, I'm sorry, I don't believe you, or I highly doubt that, you know, or like, yeah, you don't really know me, you've not really been around that long, kind of things like that. And then I'll just tell them like, you know, no, that's not, you know, gonna happen. You know, I'm
not interchangeable with another creator.
Yeah,
like,
I don't feel like it's genuine.
You can't just line us up and go, any one of these will do.
Wife swap. Like,
no.
He's so for real.
VTuber wife swap.
Oh Christ, there's a game show waiting to happen.
Oh my god.
What's that show called? Trading Spaces? Trading Spouses.
Oh my god.
My wife became a VTuber, so I married my Oshi.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah. It's
yeah.
My husband's wife became a VTuber, and he's married to his Oshi.
You are the exception. Yeah, no, like I just have always found that off-putting because like you can say whatever you want to me and tell me how special I am to you, but at the end of the day, like if I see you doing that to other people, then it just feels insincere. It makes me feel used.
Yeah. I hate that.
Yeah, no one likes feeling disposable.
Exactly.
And it makes me feel like I'm second best, and then I start questioning myself or my self-worth because you were just like, you know, a VTuber fucking collector or fuckboy or whatever you want to call it, and it's just like, then it's like you made me feel special as like, oh, you're my favorite content creator, and then I see you do it to somebody else the very next week. And in the beginning, when I first just started doing this, those things really hurt my feelings. I'm like, in the beginning, you know, when I started, and I feel like that's still like, yeah, I should have understood that it was content and it wasn't personal, but at the same time they made it personal because, you know, they were hitting me with those parasocial feelings and I felt special, you know, or those compliments that they gave me, it made me feel special, it made me feel like an important person. I'm like, oh my god, they love me. And then I see them, you know, in the girl who I was collabing with last week's chat now saying the same thing, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, like oh, I'm the problem, you know, like what's wrong with me, like why do I start feeling second best and stuff. And it's like, in the beginning, that's a hard thing to like understand, that it's not personal, that they are always just gonna chase the golden goose, anything that's new, anything that's you know, shiny, you know, they're just chasing the shiny is what it is, really. And so it's like, okay, I'm old news and they want something shiny. I get it. I don't get offended anymore. I'm just like, all right, go on with your bad self. You might come back around at some point because you'll get, she gets canceled. And now here, there's Old Faithful, that bitch
is reliable.
Your OC exactly. Messages, you're going back.
It's like, oh no, she doesn't. Oh no, I couldn't pay her rent this month. Let me go back to Mummy. She has very low standards for me. Hi, Mummy.
I think this absolutely goes back to the friend rant, where whenever someone first meets you, and they're like, okay, well, I met this streamer, right? And now I'm connected to this network of streamers, so I'm gonna go and spread love in the same way to them the way I did, when I first got over there. And then I don't even talk to that person. And then whenever they find out my intentions over there, oh shit, I'm back over here. And it's like, okay, well, everybody knows what you're about at this point. So
yeah, there are certain people like usual suspects who are in multiple people's chat doing the same thing. Yeah. You see it with guys and
spreading the love is fine. It's just love bombing people,
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying where they're flirting very heavily and clearly trying to get individual attention and maybe something a little bit more from multiple people because they just want someone.
So I would ask the panel actually, what are your love bombing red flags? What is something that someone says it to you, you're like, oh, this is a love bomb?
I would just I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. It's the pussyfooting questions that look for their opening to be more direct. And that shit makes me ick so bad. And again, it's just about asserting yourself. This is a joke. I'm bantering with you. This is not serious.
Boundary pushing is so frustrating to me because I feel even if I put the most succinct and clear boundaries in the world out there, for you to push on it makes me feel even more disrespected. I get it if I was wishy-washy about what I'm trying to do. But if I tell you what I'm about and you still try to get in there, after all I've been through being a streamer, fuck off. I'm not doing this again. I've already been through multiple ages, as a streamer of heartbreak and loss and cancellation and whatever it is. I don't want to do this again with you.
Yeah. The other thing is when they start when they don't stop to the point that it impinges on other people's ability to interact with or enjoy the stream.
Yeah.
If they're giving you compliments to the point that you're either gumming up chat, or if you're in a collab, say that you can't just have a conversation flow because they're busy breaking it up with compliments or horny comments every single time. That's a big one.
Yeah, or they're just sucking off a person of higher viewership just because they're collabing with you. They're in your chat. No, in your chat, they're just kind of oh my god, first time meeting you, you're so great, even though you guys are in a moment of silence, you're not even talking, and they're oh my god, they're so cute. I'm okay, well, I feel like you're fishing right now. I feel like you're fishing.
Yeah, I don't like my community flirting with whoever I'm streaming with. That's a big red flag for me. Don't. Yeah, it's okay, look, are you here for me or are you here for them? Because if you're here for them, go to their fucking stream, okay? I love them. They're my friends, okay? But go over there then. I say that all the time because I have this friend, and I'll say their name, Lioness, right? My friend Lioness has this gorgeous voice. She's French, okay, or she has a French accent. So of course she sounds sexy. She sounds husky, and she's she sounds very sussy and stuff all the time, and that's just how she sounds. And I'm streaming with her, and I sound like a fucking Muppet, and she sounds amazing. people are like, oh my god, mommy, your friend's voice is so pretty. Well, tell her that, but not here. Go the fuck away. And so it's like, okay, well, like last week you were in love with my fucking cringe voice, and now suddenly you're humping on hers.
Yeah, say that shit over there. Don't say that over here. That makes me feel bad. Oh my god.
Right, I am so self-conscious about my voice too, and I'm like, and everyone's like, oh my god, Lioness's voice, and I'm like, listen, we all love Lioness's voice, okay? I love Lioness's voice. Lioness wouldn't be here if I didn't love her voice, all right? But get the fuck out of here with that.
Whoever said Muppy in chat, I'm timing you out.
Muppy, oh my god, that was a mistake! How dare you!
Go ahead, time me out, bitch. I dare you.
To be fair, that's fine. Wow. Mrs. Piggy, Mrs. Mummy, hello. There's reasons, guys.
Right.
My lore.
Miss Piggy is fabulous. I would totally be Miss Piggy.
I
She's on the mood board.
I love her. She's like, when I grew up, when I was a little girl, I said when I wanted to grow up, I wanted to grow up to be Miss Piggy. When I was a little girl, I was like, for real. My first
Me
crush.
too. That is so valid.
Yeah, my first crush when I was growing up was Kermit the Frog. So anytime somebody does a Kermit the Frog voice, it triggers me. I'm like, please stop, please stop.
I don't care about Kermit. I just wanted to be Piggy.
But what I was gonna say, my actual trigger, my red flag is when people will be like, well, because I'll say that I don't have a boyfriend, right? Because I call myself like poly-single, meaning that I have a partner and I'm partnered, but I still am like still open to like, but even though I call myself unromanceable, meaning I don't have a secondary partner, right? I don't have a secondary partner. And I'll just make a lot of like self-deprecating jokes about not having a partner. And again, they're just at my own expense just to be like, oh, cry no bitches, But when people are like, oh, let me get that boyfriend application, or when they're like, how are you single? I would totally date you. That's like, okay, how many people are you telling that?
It sends me when people try and take boyfriend or girlfriend applications seriously.
Yeah, I'm like, no. Well, like, just like try to like get like, if you actually wanted to get to know me, like, how do you like? You don't even know me. Like, how do you know you're gonna like me? Like that's my thing. When people I've never spoken to are instantly like love bombing me, that to me is a huge red flag. Because how many other people are they doing that to? Like that's mine. That's my. Oh, you're just love bombing me. And when they start saying like, they start messaging me every day. You're so amazing. You're so great. You've never been to one of my streams before. How do you know?
Especially if I'm not replying and you keep messaging.
Yeah, and I'm sure we probably all dealt with this. Like the people that message you all the time and they're like, you're so amazing, you're wonderful. They've never seen you ever anywhere, ever.
This question might be a bit tactless and you don't have to respond to it. But how much of how much of this do you think might be related to your perceived numbers on Twitter or Twitch or Fansly even?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. For me, I feel like for me, everything that people tell me is in regards to my Twitter numbers. Personally, for me, I feel like everything, my significance in general, like my supposedly like quote clout, is all from my inflated Twitter numbers. Because my Twitch number, I am Twitter rich, but I am Twitch poor.
Heard.
And so like I'm like, bro, like I am so abundant in Twitter clouds, but when it comes to me on Twitch, like nobody comes to watch me. Like I'm not saying nobody, I do have nice numbers, but they're not partner numbers. I'm not partner. I can't get close to partner with those numbers. There ain't no way to even partner push with those numbers, okay? There's no point in it. So it's like you only are talking to me because I have a high Twitter number. That's it. You're only interested in me, and maybe because I post up sussy horny things, all right? Maybe, but I think that's even gratuitous. That's even giving them too much clout, like too much credit there.
Right.
Yeah, too much credit for me being sussy. I think it's more so regarding the fact that they see that huge number and they're like, oh my god, let me see if I can bag this person who is so popular, and they think I'm popular because they haven't gone to check and see my Twitch. They don't know. They haven't even done the legwork.
Yeah,
all they care about
the
is that one
legwork. Like, yo, can this person like actually partner to whatever the fuck, you know.
And I think Bia agreed with me. Like, Bia, do you deal with the same thing?
Well, because I blew up very randomly because I posted hot girl gross like meme, and that went trans platform. Like that went to Facebook, that went to Instagram, it went to Tumblr, it went to the front page of fucking Reddit, and I made 5,000 followers in 3 days, and it was crazy the amount of attention and like just really seeing the growth like happen before my very fucking eyes. Like people, my friends were all sending me screenshots like, you're at 6K now. I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was just very jarring, but I think that it definitely affected, I think, how my audience and even my peers, really, like other content creators, speak to me. Like all of a sudden now people really wanted to talk to me or really wanted to collab with me or felt like I had like strings to pull here, and I'm like, I don't. I have technical issues all the fucking time on my streams. My mouth is never correctly calibrated. My mic doesn't always pick up. My music, my Spotify starts to get scratchy after an hour. It's all these like
stream muted.
I'm not super quality, so it's like to get that attention. I'm like, I'm the same person as before. You're like, you're just kind of reaching out to me because of my numbers, and that like sucks, you know.
Or worse, when people like stop being friends with you because they assume that you're too like famous to be friends with them now.
I hate that.
Get over yourself. Me up on my horse. I'm like, oh, get over yourself.
So we're getting close to the end of the stream, everybody. So if you have any sort of final questions for our panel here, now is the time to get them in, either via Marshmallow or via chat.
I have a quick anecdote that might like fill the space while people are getting their stories in.
Absolutely.
There was a fuckboy who became a wife guy and like eventually disappeared, but like when he was still in his fuckboy phase, he was like, we were flirting back and forth, and he actually asked me in these words, does your husband know how you conduct yourself?
And I was like,
wow, yes, he's my biggest fan. I wouldn't do this if he wasn't okay with it. Like, what?
Do you know
Spell conduct. That's how I would respond.
What the fuck is that? Is this a report card? What the fuck?
I can't believe this motherfucker. It sounds like a motherfucking like SAT test or something.
Really?
Yeah.
What the hell is he talking about? Does your husband know how you conduct yourself? Yeah, I'm getting money from you, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Run your pockets.
It's like, yeah, you should see. You know what? You should see the PS5 I bought him with your money, bitch. Yeah, like mind your business.
Hashtag money.
Yeah, that's what I was like my fucking partner's all his tattoos. I'm like, thank you, Fansley boys. He's loving it.
Yeah, my husband is my chief mod and biggest fan. Like, yes, he knows how I conduct myself.
That's so
Like,
rude.
I know, right? And he was one of those horn dogs that was like fucking around, and I was like, wow.
It's because they got nothing better to do, bro.
The hypocrisy
it
runs deep, and the misogyny, because that's a misogynistic comment.
It is misogyny, 100%.
That is misogynist as fuck. Like, how does your husband know how you conduct yourself?
Does your husband know what you're doing? Why the what?
Yeah.
Controlling over like my marriage, my relationship, or my dateability. Like, fuck off.
Did you ask your dad first?
Oh my god, Owen, what the fuck?
No, I saw some shit on
Did you ask your dad
Twitter
before you
today.
became a whore?
No. I saw some shit on Twitter earlier about like this one person that was trying to argue that like, yeah, we should get one vote per household and it should all be dictated by the man. And I was like,
fuck you.
Yeah.
Not you, obviously.
No. I saw that shit on Twitter. I was like, is this how you really feel? Because
they do though.
Bad take.
Like, there's a law. I forgot what state it is.
And they were talking very calmly, and I was like, I would calmly like break your nose off of your face, respectfully.
Yeah. It reminded me of I'm sorry, Parks and Rec, when April was joking about like men and stuff. She's like, the men are our masters. We must always walk behind the men. She was looking at this huge like like joke because she's like April, stop, like about like how women should have voting rights. She's like, yes, we should listen to them because they are our masters.
No.
Stop it. We should always walk behind the men.
They were trying to do this whole thing about like, no, the whole women's rights thing was a huge misconception, you know?
Now
It
that's
was
being
one
a pick-me.
Yeah. They were like, it was a whole misconception. It was like, no, it's one
like
per
the
household,
rat
and then the man sent it in. I'm like, so the man voted.
Bro.
Mm-hmm.
Our suffrages! Come on!
Yeah, women's rights. You have the right to
It's crazy that we
live
have
under
to
your husband's
fucking
boot.
listen to people like this, like modern day. It is so fucked up, but we won't.
You know they would never say that out in public somewhere, though, right?
No.
A lot of them are like spouting that incel nonsense online because they can. But let them say that in front of a group of women. Let them say that in front of Bia and me and Mystique.
Let them say that in front of a group of regular people, and they're like, "No, let me get my bodyguards so that nobody breaks my nose."
It's about to be a big mistake if you do that in front of me. I'm lesbian, can't relate. Sorry.
There was someone in
I
Australia
used to-
who actually sent like those comments like on that people made online to their mothers.
To their moms,
Their
yes.
mothers, yeah, and just humiliated them because like they were so ashamed to like be saying.
Yeah.
God,
It's like, sorry, mom, you don't get your own voice. It's like, bitch, I wish I never birthed you.
Mm-hmm. How
I say
about
that a
that?
lot as a comeback on streams is like someone says something nasty to me and I'm just like, I'm gonna tell your mother on you right now. You better fix your fucking attitude and get the salt out of there.
Right? You kissed your mother with that mouth, huh?
Exactly.
I was on
Right.
I was on a collab with Clappy playing Sea of Thieves with him and like another guy that he used to collab with regularly, and that guy told me to just sit there and look pretty. And like the words "fuck you" had left my mouth before I even realized what was happening. Like on stream, I don't
Good.
like. I'm very polite and nice and calm and gentle, but like when you stop being decent to me, I will stop being decent back.
Dude, you're English. Of course you're polite. What the hell? Oh my God.
Yeah, like literally the word "fuck you" left my mouth
I gasped when you said that.
instantly.
It was like a reflex. Yeah, I was like, excuse me. I feel like I got slapped in the face.
They should put "fuck you" in the alphabet. Honestly, okay.
They really should.
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, fuck you.
Fuck you.
We got another question from Marshmallow. This one's a bit of a softball, but I'm curious about your thoughts on this before we wrap up tonight. This will be the last question for Marshmallow. If your partner or close friend has a specific taste, music, hobby, etc., and they ask you to join them, would you be into even if you weren't really into it?
So would you give it a try, kind of
Give it
thing?
a shot, basically.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. What do you
Let me
mean?
just
What
say-
do you want me to say no? Like what?
Let me just say, like, I don't expect anyone to ever be into anything that I do.
Yeah.
I like trains, I like factory games, I like strategy games, we'll sit in like an ADHD haze playing these games for like 8 hours. I don't expect anybody to like
Did
the
you
shit that I
just say you like trains?
Yeah.
I do like trains. I like train simulators.
That's so cute.
I love
Oh my
that.
God, that's adorable.
Fuzzy's the
good.
same. I have learned so many things about planes that I don't care about. He and I are quite independent people though, so we have like areas of crossover, but it's like a Venn diagram. We have our interests and like our lives, and then they cross over, but like we're separate entities kind of thing.
That's a great way of putting it. I consider myself a separate entity. I'm very independent when it comes to relationships. I'm like, I've got my shit, and like I'll come over to your shit eventually, but I don't expect you to come into here and love the stuff that I love because that's like Disney movie stuff. That's like not real life relationships whatsoever.
Yeah, like we've got common interests, and we'll meet in the middle, and we'll do those. But like, you know, I don't care about planes.
Yeah,
I
think
just don't.
I think I'm me and my partner. Like, I think he's made sure I'm into everything he's into.
I'm into, he's into.
Like, no, like, he's made sure I'm into everything he's into. That does not go the same way or like the other way around. I'll be like, hey, my friend, you want to watch this true crime documentary? And he's like, fuck no. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll be watching that by myself. But I think that there's like with me and him, there's like this level of like he really likes to share the things he likes and really wants me to be into the same thing he's into. So I try to always give everything a shot at least once, you know, and if I openly tell him I'm really not into it, I'm like, nah, I'm not. If I know he loves it and I'm still not really into it, I might still kind of just tolerate it because I just kind of like want he gets excited when I like the things he likes, or at least gives, you know, watches them. I wouldn't want to make him watch something he doesn't want to watch, like the true crime. I'm enjoying the true crime, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want you to hatefully like stare at my serial killers like I'm a problem. So I won't like try to force him into things, because I have before. I'm like, well, remember I did do this for you, and we'll watch that thing I didn't like, and he'll be like, okay, so then he'll do it hatefully, and I'm like, well, this wasn't good. I didn't get joy out of this. I don't like this.
With like someone else.
Yeah. I was like, well, I didn't enjoy that. Now I did, even though I did watch something for him, I didn't do it hatefully. I did it, like I tried to give it a chance. But if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. A lot of the time, sometimes, like with songs and things like that, he might come back around to it later by himself and be like, oh, I really like this song. I'm like, you don't remember I showed you like 3 months ago and you said you don't like it? Like, is it just because I showed it to you, you don't like it? But that's just like playful, I think, banter. Me and him have this thing where if we both like something, we get a point, which is it's very competitive of us. I'm not saying this is healthy relationship.
Right, competitive relationship.
Yeah, I'm openly saying we're very, very competitive. So he'll show me a song, and if it's a really good song, I'll be like, oh yeah, you get a point for this. And he's like, yes. And so I'll show him a song, like, you like this song? And he'll be like, no, I don't like it. I'll be like, oh, okay, you don't? No, I don't like it. I'll be like, okay. Then 3 months later, I hear it on his playlist. I'm like, that's the song I showed you. Oh, what? I don't remember that. So I think there's like the level of competitiveness between us. But yeah, no, sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never felt like you have to be into the same things as a couple. You just have to have that like emotional bond. I think that's kind of the more important thing. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
So, person who asked this question, like, don't feel any pressure to like the things that your partner likes too. If it's important to them, be polite about it. Maybe give it a shot, but you don't have to love the things they love. It's just how it is. Anyway,
Mummy. Before you go, I have a question, because I think I remember Mummy saying that she's like really into Kermit the Frog.
Oh, yeah.
I have to ask this while it's still in my brain. Are you really into Bill Gates?
Bill Gates? No, why? Does he sound like Kermit the Frog?
Because he sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Oh, I don't think he does. I think
really, I think he does.
I don't think he does. I think it's only when like people openly do the Kermit the Frog voice. Like,
right.
The like, and I'm like, oh God, shut up. My childhood crush. We've all when we were kids.
We've all had silly childhood crushes.
Had a silly childhood crush. Come on,
Absolutely.
don't even pretend.
Yeah.
Some of y'all are like, oh my God, like I would never. Yeah, okay, fine. Mine was a Muppet. All right, mine was a one.
Well,
yeah.
this has been the Dead's podcast.
Down. Did you have another like hard one for us that maybe they could answer? Like one last hard one regarding the whole unromanceable aspect.
Sure. I mean,
because that one was a little bit, like you said, that one was like more heartfelt, romancy question.
Sure.
Why do you hate love?
Because I hate everybody.
Well, here's what I'll say to just sort of wrap it up. I'm gonna say Bia's wife being like,
that's just
like,
how I am IRL.
No,
lost
no.
in the
So
couch kitchens, honestly. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sort of a closing question, because I do know some of you guys gotta get going. To a new streamer, someone entering the space and maybe wanting to do LewTubing or BFE or DFE content, what would you say to somebody who's concerned about attracting the wrong attention and leading people on? Like, what advice would you give to that person? And we'll go in order this time. So we'll start with Mummy, go to Bia, then Omen, and then we'll wrap up.
Would you mind starting from the back over to me last? Because I feel like I've spoken a lot. If that's possible. I just want to give everybody else a chance because I feel like I'm a chatty mouth. So
I do love that about you, but yeah, absolutely. No.
I feel like the core theme has just been just setting that expectation, really asserting it. You know, Omen also said like a really good one where it's like TOS, you know, making that public and accessible for everyone. Any avenue people try to find you on, like make sure you're putting that there. But also not always the responsibility of you. Like you can only do so much until everything, like other things are just out of your control. Like again, like people having feelings for you, like I can't control that. But I think that so long as you are being true to the content that you are making and true to like who you are outside of it, you're fine. You will be fine.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think being upfront and like you get into the most trouble when you're nebulous about your intentions and like, you know, that ambiguity can get you into trouble, especially if you're like making heavily intimate content. You gotta be careful.
Yeah. As is like waiting for like some kind of apocalyptic catalytic event to put down a boundary, because people tend to use like salami tactics. So they'll push a little bit, whether they know they're doing it or not, until you're like so far away from your boundary that if they just jumped straight to there, you would have cut it off immediately. So don't wait for there to be like some kind of event to make you angry and put down a boundary. Just, you can put down a boundary without needing like a reason, so to speak, or a cause.
I feel so bad for like a lot of streamers out here because a lot of people are people pleasers. Like they've been people pleasers with trauma or like things that have happened in their lives. So their natural inclination is to like weather like uncomfortable things. The problem with people who make you uncomfortable is that they're going to continue doing so.
Yeah, and it doesn't get better. Like it will continue to escalate.
And you want to answer before I jump in?
Oh, you want me to? Or you want?
Yeah, you jump in and then my turn.
What advice would you give for like, especially like a male, like we've talked a lot about the femme perspective. I want to talk a bit about the mask perspective. Like what? Yeah,
it's pretty funny because I would probably say focus on the content and the people you do content with, because there's a lot like in between about like people getting attached and everything, and I would probably say like follow your creativity. Like if you have like certain ideas about certain things, then just like pursue those and don't let like other things distract beyond them, especially early on. Don't let things like distract beyond like your creativity and everything. Just like do what you set out to do. Like if you have a really good idea for something, put that out. Obviously, like I said before, and other people have said as well before, TOS is probably a very good feel safe to have, because you know, people who get parasocial or like they feel like they're getting a unique experience. But if you're putting something out for the failsafe, no, not the failsafe, for the public. I said failsafe twice. If you're putting something out for the public, then it's kind of more like you're coming out with a concept that you want to produce, and then you give that to them, and then beyond that, it's just sort of like it's your own thing, and it can be a little overwhelming. But like at the same time, like if this is what you want to do, then like absolutely go for it. Like there's a lot of things that like horror stories that will deter you from doing what you want to do, but like at the end of the day, like, you know, a lot of people have this passion for like, you know, sort of like intimate circumstances or scenarios, like great ideas that they put out. Like I've seen Atro put out a lot of good scripts, you know,
yeah.
and everything. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you do what you do because you're good at doing it. And if there's other people that are kind of getting too close, then it's important to set that boundary, you know?
Yes.
That's about it.
Great advice. Like being upfront, having it in writing, and setting your boundaries. Because at the end of the day, like, we don't want to be gloom and doom about like BFE content or even just being like a handsome VTuber man on the internet. Like, it can do wonders for you, your self-confidence, like the amount of like growth you'll get from doing that. Like, as long as you're being careful, because it's tough out there, and like you just gotta communicate and don't tolerate this stuff, especially if you're a man, because people expect you to sort of weather things that like, or not talk about certain things,
and communicate with your partner if you have one.
I guess. Exactly.
Yeah. God, I own a femdom Discord server, and I have for like about 10 years now, and like the number of problems that people come up with that could just be solved with talk to your fucking partner. It's crazy.
If you ever have to be deceptive about you,
and sometimes it's just like a bad scenario where like, you know, they weren't right for you, especially if it's early on in the dating phase and you don't know each other very much. But yeah, definitely.
Especially with e-dating,
yeah, absolutely. That's all I have to say.
It's just occurred to me that we barely talked about e-dating whatsoever in this episode.
It's okay. That could be another one.
We covered a lot of good topics though. Like, I think it was very informative.
Absolutely.
I think,
cool.
yeah, my thing is, if somebody want to get in this space, whether it's boyfriend content, waifu content, whatever you're doing, my thing is, and I've made a tweet about this before, is do not even become like a VTuber if you cannot verbalize like your boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. In general, I don't care if you're going to be a cozy streamer. I don't care if you're going to be a say-so streamer. I don't care. Any kind of content you're making does not matter. You need to have the balls to be able to draw that line when somebody tries to cross it, because so many times things come out about, well, this person did this and this to me. Well, did you ever tell them to stop? No, I couldn't, you know, and I get that, like they should have asked for consent, but then the people are going to be like, you know, well, did you ever ask them to stop? That's usually the first question everybody's going to ask and throw on you. Well, you never verbalized. Well, they should have asked for consent first, and they still would have said no. But sometimes, again, there's still people pleasers who will be like, yeah, okay, you know, even if they don't want that kind of, you know, attention, because it's really hard to disappoint people, right? Especially if it's somebody in your community. It's really hard to turn people down. It's really hard, like, for a lot of people, especially people that have gone through trauma and stuff, to do that. I would say that you have to be very strong in your conviction to enter this space, because this space is a hunting ground for people who are going to push your boundaries, exploit your kindness, exploit your popular, everything. There are so many, anything, everything. They might look like good people. You have to be mindful of the internet is the internet brings the ugliest parts out of people. Okay.
Too.
Yes, and that's just a fact. You can go out and you can have civil conversations with people, and even like if you go to TwitchCon, things like that, people are so kind to your face and super nice in person and stuff. But sometimes they seem mean online, because the thing is that, again, the freedom of being online, like it pulls out the ugliest in most people, right? That's what the internet does. So imagine then you being, you know, a little babe in the woods, a new VTuber, you not being able to communicate your boundaries, communicate things that bother you, or you have to have a strong conviction in what you allow and what you don't allow before even daring to become a VTuber. That is my biggest thing with people always, because I don't want to see these good people come in here and then get disillusioned because they got, you know, bombarded by a bunch of people that just treated them poorly or pushed their boundaries and they were taken advantage of and a bunch of other things. It's sad to see those people go through those things because they could not properly verbalize their boundaries with those people. So
and it doesn't even need to be like sexual or romantic.
No?
I mean, there are people who will just like come in and like start using you as like a trauma mattress, or just hanging out in your DMs and being sad and just pushing all of that sadness and negativity onto you all the time, whether they know they're doing it or not. The point isn't to push all of the blame onto the person who is wronging you. The point is that you have to be able to put down a boundary and tell them to stop and advocate for yourself. Whether you want to do a collab or not, whether you want to play a certain game or be involved in certain scenarios, or, your community getting too close and like you having different, like dozens of different remoras sucking out all of your energy and love for the craft because you can't cut them off or tell them that they're being too much.
Well, and I've said that if they can't verbalize it themselves because they do have that problem, they should definitely get a trusted mod, like somebody who they trust, to be able to do that. Because if you really do have that issue because of trauma in your past, and then you should be able to at least talk to somebody who then deals with those things as kind of like your bodyguard. Like this person crossed the line with me, and then they go and say, listen, see this here, don't do that, don't ever cross that line with them again. At least you have, if you can't verbalize it yourself, always have that backup that at least somebody else has your back.
Nobody got me.
Absolutely.
Got me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been the Depths Podcast. I'm your host, Atramentum_X. We talked today about being unromanceable and setting your boundaries with your community. There are essentially no correct answers sometimes for a lot of these questions. Whether or not you should disclose having a partner, to what extent you should tamp down on people's feelings towards you, and whether or not you should embrace, for example, transactional sex work instead of streaming on Twitch. At the end of the day, as I really think Omen had the best take here about being upfront with your TOS and sort of just putting it all out in paper and writing, because you will always get the point to that when people get upset with you. But yeah, if you can't advocate for yourself, then you've got to... It's the number one thing when it comes to streaming.
Yeah. Find a way.
Absolutely. So we're going to give our guests an opportunity to do plugs and tell us what they have going on. Starting with Mummy, tell us what you have going on for you right now.
Hey, I'm missusmummy. I mostly stream on Fansly. Every once in a while, I'll stream on Twitch because Twitch don't like me. I'm joking. But yeah, I mostly stream on Fansly on the weekends. I do stream on Twitch usually on the weekends in the mornings. I am going to start streaming more often now because I'm starting to feel better and stuff because I was having some health issues. But yeah, nothing's too special right now going on with me. You can find me at missusmummy everywhere. Like I said, I'm Twitter famous and Twitch poor. I'm also trying to become now Blue Sky rich over there too. I'm like, okay, we're gonna work on the Blue Sky. Let's grind this shit. I was like, do me good like Twitter did. So yeah, we're trying to do that. But yeah, you can mostly find me there. And I am getting a new cat next Friday. I did one of those.
Yeah, the Persian cat, right?
Yeah, next Friday. Isn't she cute? Yes.
Cute.
She's a Persian. She's a little smush. All my cats are smushes. I have 2 smush already. She's gonna be my 3rd smush. I said that this year I was gonna get a boyfriend. I was just joking. I was like, this year I'm gonna get a boyfriend. This is the year for me. And then I was like, well, I didn't get a boyfriend this year, guys. Instead, I got a cat. People were like, you got 2 months left though. And I was like, dude, I work at Snail.
No, you can't.
Okay?
You can't make a good boyfriend in 2 months. Come on.
Way. I'm like, dude, you need to be talking to me for at least 9 months to a year for me to even consider That's why I'm so unromanceable. I need to know you for at least a year before I'm like, okay, maybe I'll want to go on like a date with you.
A year in
That's
fucking
right.
VTuber world? That's like 10
Yeah.
years. A
That's
decade.
the
Yeah.
point. That nobody has that kind of stamina for me.
That's
Nobody
like
has
that
kind of
Doctor Who
stamina.
episode with Rory waiting outside that big cube with Amy Pond inside for 2,000 years in VTuber space.
That would be
That's-
the most British Mystique has
but-
ever been on the podcast. Yes.
That is me.
Which doctor was that again? Hold on.
It was Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. Let me see if I actually saw that one.
My name is
Yeah.
ARRABBIATAHOE, be a big shot. You can
Oh, yes,
find me on Twitter, ARRABBIATAHOE, pretty much anywhere. B-Sky and Patreon, I'm just ARRABBIATA. And I'm going to be opening up commissions on VGen pretty soon. So if you have any holiday commissions that you want to get in, I am going to be open soon. And I am anticipating having a new model debut in the new year. So that's something to look forward to. New year, literally new me.
Well, let me just say real quick, Mummy absolutely was the inspiration for this episode. Being unromanceable, being very outspoken about this. And very glad to have you on, Mummy, again, so very, very much. And Bia, I really did enjoy like the way you sort of move on Twitter and like the way you sort of talk about the way that you are. I found it very refreshing and very awesome, and frankly, it's been a joy to talk to you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next up, Omen, tell us a bit about what you got going on.
Yeah. My name is OmenKae. I do stream sometimes. To be honest, I'm looking forward to the next few months. We're getting into the holidays. I have a lot of spooky like collabs coming up and everything, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. I also really enjoyed like talking my feelings out, just because like I'm not used to like doing just chatting shit. It's just like, if someone mentions something, then I go off on it and I'll talk about it for like 10 minutes. But if nobody talks about it, then I'll just never address it. But this has been super fun to, hang out and talk about it on the podcast.
Such a pleasure to have you on as well.
Lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wanting to meet you for like probably close to a year, and we've never really had anything in common.
Well, no, because I've known who you, both you and Atra. But
Yeah.
both you and Atra, I've known you both for like a good amount of time. This is my first time meeting Bia, actually.
Me too.
Like before this collab.
I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, the puns.
I love it.
I'm tearing my face in half.
Fun.
Anyways.
I love it.
But yeah, I got a new model also cooking, which is super fun. I can't give you a date on that just because I don't like to rush my rigor. But yeah, I was hoping for Halloween. It's probably not going to be Halloween. It's probably going to be around New Year's, so that'll be fun. But beyond that, guys, I just want to say it's been super pleasant talking with you guys about everything. I do D&D, I do VTM, I do games, I do D&D with this one over here.
Me, this one. I'm this one. We do
That one.
D&D every Sunday. Yeah. Omen
Yeah.
is very important to our campaign. So,
It's super fun. I fucking love it. Like,
So fun.
I loved D&D before I even started streaming, and like it's been enhanced by the people I've been surrounded with. So like, so don't let this deter you from getting into streaming and everything. Just like be cautious about people that like, are kind of pervasive of your privacy or whatever. Like, like set your boundaries, and that's about it.
Be wary.
That's-
Keep your eyes peeled.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and don't be greedy when you start getting it. Okay, don't be greedy. That's the route to being canceled. Don't be greedy. Be humble.
Yeah, look at me.
okay?
I'm a virgin.
Be humble. Be thankful. Be humble. Be
Yeah,
true to
me too.
yourself. I know it's hard to be
Omen.
humble when you're perfect in every way, but
it was such a pleasure, and I will definitely have you back on. Like I'm glad that you had a good time here, because I really want people to talk to each other and talk out their feelings on this podcast. You know? So thank you very much. You were an absolute delight.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Lady Mystique, what you got going on?
Hey everyone, I am last but not least Lady Mystique, aka that pink one that never goes away. I am mostly on Fansly at the moment. I've been doing Locktober and have some amazing femdommy content coming out once Locktober is over. I mainly do pre-recorded audios and VR picture sets and VR videos. But I will be getting into streaming again soon. I also have new models coming up for the Angel and Demon. They are done. They just need final texturing, and then they will be ready for use. And I'll be coming back onto Twitch soon. So lots of stuff happening. I'm really excited.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mummy, Beer, Omen, I've had so much fun talking to you.
Too.
It's always a pleasure. It's always so
Yeah,
nice.
it's been a
Not me.
pleasure.
This has been the worst time of my life.
Liar.
I'm gonna subtweet about this. I'm
I
not
hear
gonna
the
lie.
smile on your
Gonna-
face, you fucking liar.
typing a Google Doc as we speak.
I wanted to thank our wonderful panel. They have amazing chemistry, and they're all very talented, very... Like, I think they are all role models for, like, the content that they do. Thank you all very, very much. I am Atramentum_X, Variety streamer and YouTuber. You can find all my links at atramentum.inc. Please follow this podcast on Spotify and YouTube. We are on both. And as for me, find me at SumiCon tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. I'll be streaming with Kira P, Steve Evelyn, and Red Major Links. We'll be talking about sex toys and love-ins and stuff like that. And yeah, follow the podcast.
Oh.
It's my baby.
Yeah.
Follow the podcast right now.
I'm going to leave everybody with a teaser for the next 2 episodes, believe it or not, because we have a double header on November 7th and 8th, all
Yes.
about making engaging content for Fansly. So, without further ado, I'm going to send you over to that video. Good night, everybody.
Good
Hi,
night.
everybody.
We got bye.